Petals drifted through darkness as a voice confessed unconditional love, uncaring whether it was understood. A goddess, flustered by formality, clumsily announced his death with misplaced joy and awkward condolences. Waking in the void, he faced an unfamiliar girl descending confused. Detached from the surrounding surreal scene, she nervously explained everything: his truck accident, her divine role, and his place in the afterlife. Relieved by the end, he laughed quietly, finally free from the torment that consumed his previous life. The goddess reviewed his records, explaining misfortunes began after a tragic accident claimed their parents. She granted him a new life: beauty, power, status, and permission to retain every single memory. Added bonuses included joy, talents, and even reunion possibilities if reborn near familiar people from Earth. He urgently stood, panic rising, demanding answers about one person: his obsessive, terrifying sister's fate. Eyes wide with fear, he screamed, what if she reincarnated too, continuing her twisted obsession again. The goddess awkwardly admitted she had already reincarnated his sister into the exact same world. Raj exploded as he grabbed her in despair, screaming at the consequences of her decision. His mind shattered just when he believed escape was possible. Her shadow returned to haunt him, terrified of repeating fate. He thrashed, rejected reincarnation, and begged to avoid rebirth near her. Tears streaming, she pleaded for his safety: hide, well, survive, and never let her find you. The goddess awkwardly admitted she had already reincarnated his sister into the exact same world. Rage exploded as he grabbed her in despair, screaming at the consequences of her decision. His mind shattered just when he believed escape was possible. Her shadow returned to haunt him, terrified of repeating fate. He thrashed, rejected reincarnation, and begged to avoid rebirth near her. Tears streaming, she pleaded for his safety: hide well, survive, and never let her find you. His awareness returned slowly, drifting in darkness, surrounded by warmth, hearing the rhythm of life. Again, suspicion crept in. Even before birth, was this really freedom, or another inevitable encounter approaching? The past haunted him deeply: 5 unbearable years imprisoned, powerless under her twisted, possessive control. A baby's cry echoed, distant and unfamiliar. Yet something about it filled him with unease. Voices called out in this strange world. And a girl named Anneli entered his life. Vision blurred. He awoke in confusion, his body weak, senses dulled, unfamiliar surroundings cloaked in shadows. Anneli's gentle voice greeted him warmly. He had soiled himself, and she began changing him. Smiling brightly, the maid calmly introduced herself as Anneli, loyal servant of the noble Lieber family. Panic surged through him. He looked down, saw tiny limbs, and realized his body was now infantile. He had truly reincarnated as a baby. Helpless again, reliant on strangers to survive everything ahead. She endured everything to give birth, believing love would heal their fractured, broken lives together again. Moments passed gently as the three embraced, warmth spreading through their hearts, forming bonds he never imagined. Laughter filled the home where once sorrow dwelled. Nothing mattered more than building a peaceful, loving family. But buried thoughts returned, whispering doubts: perhaps he didn't belong. Perhaps he'd stolen another child's rightful place still. He clenched his resolve tightly, vowing to live as Jack and answer their love sincerely. Now fully committed, he accepted this new identity: Jack Lieber, noble son of Count Kalam. He clenched his fist tightly, swearing this peaceful life wouldn't collapse like his previous families did. To survive, he planned carefully, act normal, avoid attention, and never reveal his reincarnated soul's origin. But his sister wasn't ordinary, her instincts terrifying, her obsession unstoppable, her pursuit certain no matter what. 3 weeks later, his fears became reality. An attack shattered everything, launching his small body upward. Suddenly, he found himself suspended mid-air, defying gravity, while the maid watched in utter disbelief. Wide-eyed and panicked, he realized his plan already failed. His powers had drawn everyone's immediate attention. Instead of suspicion, excitement erupted. His parents praised the spiritual arts awakened in him so young. Cradled in loving arms, he listened. Only rare children manifest powers immediately after birth like he did. His father explained spirit fragments dwell within them, and his floating was caused by spiritual energy awakening early. He learned the power came from within spiritual arts. a rare gift marking him as exceptional. His father declared a noble mission. Jack's strength would serve peace, perfected for the world's sake. Silently, Jack clenched his tiny fist, determined not to waste the second chance he'd been granted. A vow formed, he'd master this power and defend everyone from her, no matter what. Soon, he began preparing, diligently studying books, absorbing knowledge, quietly forging strength behind a curious childlike gaze. In the library, Jack studied spirit lore, tales of kings, creation, and ancient elemental bonds. The legendary king, crowned in God's favor, communed with powerful spirits of equal divine origin and nature. Through creation's 3 stages, spirits shaped existence, forming sky, ocean, and world, birthing laws that governed all. Jack listened closely, lifting his finger. A flame emerged, proof that spirits connected even to daily life. He learned mankind thrived with spirits' aid, just as birds need trees. An ancient, inseparable relationship endures. Across races and realms, 72 spirits existed, each tied to a unique spiritual art people depended on. Original spirits served as sources, fragments separating to dwell in individuals, forming vital bonds across generations and bodies. Within Jack resided Andrea Lupus, one of the 72, a spirit among the rarest ever known. His inherited ability, Wings of Desertion, allowed him to make any object completely weightless at will. Hugging him tightly, the maid warned gently, such power, though amazing, must be handled with care. Long ago, heaven and earth were united until division, language, and fear chained humans down. While playing alone, Jack suddenly sensed something strange, an unseen presence tingling his skin and thoughts alike. Chains shimmered into view, visible only to him, an unseen force wrapping tightly around existence and space itself. Among all bindings, one stood thickest, perhaps the chain of gravity anchoring the world in place. He made a block float, its weight vanished, yet its presence felt oddly real and unreal simultaneously. Curious and cautious, Jack extended his finger toward the block, testing its strange new weightlessness. With a single tap, a violent blast erupted, energy exploded outward, shattering the room's peaceful calm. Glass and light fractured in every direction. His bed became a fortress, amidst chaos born from curiosity. Amid shattered beams and sounds, Jack clutched his head, shocked by power unleashed from within himself. The room continued cracking apart. His discovery had crossed a line, drawing reality itself into distortion and peril. A sudden surge burst toward the maid, startling them both. Jack hadn't intended to attack. Startled and confused, she touched her cheek. Something invisible had brushed her face without causing harm. Jack examined the block again, realizing floating objects caused no damage, not even a visible scratch. He concluded that knives and physical weapons lose effect, yet fire remains deadly despite floating state. Holding a fruit, Jack reasoned, floating grants immunity to harm except for fire, which bypasses protection entirely. He realized floating objects can't harm without impact weight when distracted. Their mass returns instantly and dangerously. Focusing harder, Jack levitated more toys, testing precision, control, and endurance while maintaining his floating command. With awe and excitement, his father praised him, a prodigy already wielding power few adults could master. Despite calm days, nightmares returned, reminders of past trauma that haunted him. Even within newfound warmth, his thoughts drifted back. Parents lost in a crash, life stolen just after high school graduation. Since their parents' disappearance, the siblings lived alone. She cooked, smiled sweetly, and controlled every meal. Although hesitant, he obeyed. Every bite forced him deeper into submission, unable to escape her domination. She fed him directly, savoring his struggle. He choked, trembled, and silently endured her twisted affection in terrified confusion. Afterwards, she mocked him gently. Her words revealed the truth. He ate stew laced with her saliva. Disgust overwhelmed him. Vomiting triggered her anger in her eyes. Wasting food deserved consequences, and punishment was inevitable. He collapsed while panicking. The sudden sight overwhelmed him. She had brought someone else here, bound tightly and silenced. The girl trembled. Her presence revealed this nightmare extended far beyond him. Watching helplessly, he realized everything was planned. Escape was impossible. Resistance would only worsen their situation. His sister confronted the girl directly. accusing her of watching him with impure, unforgivable intentions. Without mercy, she warned her. In her world lies deserved punishment worse than simple confinement. When she snapped, the blade struck. Blood sprayed violently as her madness escalated beyond all limits. The girl writhed helplessly. Sister declared only she could love him, others would never be accepted. Eyes wide with rage, she questioned why. Loving him was unforgivable, especially from someone else. Blaming everything on her beauty, she reached to remove the eyes that saw her brother, powerless to interfere. He watched. Trying to stop her would only endanger everyone he cared about. Frozen with terror, he could only watch as her cruelty toward the captive reached its peak. A horrible sound echoed. Everything around them fell silent as his sister's actions became irreversible. Shards and splinters scattered. His world cracked apart under the weight of her spiraling madness. She smiled while explaining conditions. Obedience meant survival. Any defiance risked devastation for everyone he loved. Finally kneeling before him, she demanded compliance again, asking if he would now obey completely. He stopped counting victims after 5. Blood never stopped. Her body moved, drenched in others' lives. She killed them while smiling. He watched, paralyzed, unable to stop the slaughter happening before him. Tears streamed down his face. He accepted it. Half the blame belonged to his silence and fear. Trapped for 5 long years, he waited in filth and dread. No help ever arrived. One day, a door creaked open. A hallway appeared. Hope flickered where none remained. Laughter surrounded him. He ran desperately, believing, for a moment, that he was finally free. Overwhelmed with joy, he screamed, but her voice returned, whispering from the darkness he thought escaped. Footsteps closed in slowly. Each step echoed louder, dragging dread back into his heart. He turned and saw her again. Shadows stretched. His breath halted as panic overwhelmed his body. Blood-stained and smiling, she asked sweetly if he was ready to return home together. He had reached his limit. Powerless, broken, exhausted, he could no longer accept her control. One step forward changed everything. Courage sparked in his heart as she watched him silently approach. Without hesitation, he lunged. Her eyes widened, unprepared for his final desperate act of resistance. A truck closed in fast. For the first time, she realized he meant it. Hands intertwined for a moment. That single grasp marked both the end and a twisted, tragic bond. He chose to die with her. If it meant peace for others, it was enough. A new life began, surrounded by love and warmth. He was celebrated on his birthday. Laughter filled the hall. Parents and guests admired the healthy boy, unaware of his hidden past. Jack smiled faintly. His maid Anneli watched closely, unaware of the pain buried beneath his innocence. Despite gratitude shown, something stirred inside. A distant fear lingered, one that refused to disappear. She smiled gently, calling Jack precious. Everyone around admired their closeness, unaware of his past. Laughter returned to the dining hall. Anneli vowed proudly to watch over Jack with care. The next day, she took Jack outside. Birds chirped softly, trees whispered secrets of peace. Though cheerful, her thoughts lingered on home. She decided to visit her family soon. She promised to stay with Jack always. Her voice was kind. Jack quietly reached back. She carried the child gently, humming softly while the breeze brushed past, lulling him toward sleep. Returning home later, the brother found his sister cooking quietly. Their parents absent again, leaving responsibility shared. Her cheerful humming filled the kitchen, a mysterious song with original lyrics, catching her brother's curiosity. Later, tension erupted violently. Classmates fell restrained on the floor as her unsettling song marked chaos. Eyes widened with madness, she sang fiercely, punishing rivals mercilessly, declaring none would approach her brother again. Sweat dripped down his trembling face, panic rising as strange memories and unbearable fear overwhelmed him. Confusion filled his heart as the unsettling song echoed, guiding him somewhere unknown through familiar arms. Dark forest stretched endlessly, her twisted melody leading deeper, promising a shared paradise built from obsession. Realization struck with horror, his cries of denial breaking, yet her voice continued, unstoppable and cruel. Loneliness settled within his fading thoughts, as he remembered the warmth of family now long lost. Startled eyes widened as a strange figure loomed closer, whispering chilling words about long-awaited awakening. Her twisted smile grew wider, voice trembling with delight, declaring 15 years of separation finally ended. She appeared suddenly, smiling darkly, embracing him tightly. 15 years had passed since their separation. His breath caught, confusion spread. She giggled sweetly, unfazed by his terrified expression and desperate questioning. Even changed face and name couldn't fool her. Recognition burned fiercely, stronger than reincarnation's disguise, or time's passage. Despite warnings, escape failed. Her twisted affection remained. Even the goddess had warned, "Flee from this monster." Clutching him tenderly, she whispered devotion, no matter where, she'd follow. Their new house awaited inescapable reunion complete. Her trembling smile, twisted with obsession. This time, no one would stop their peaceful life together. Delusions overwhelmed the forest. She spoke of children, names, and their future entirely detached from reality. Within darkness, something awoke. An ancient voice warned him. She could never be understood by logic. Memories returned like poison. His life, once again, would be stolen by the sisters' relentless grasp. He remembered the warmth family, Annelli's safety, all of it now slipping further from reach. Power erupted around her as she screamed. Something snapped. Reality distorted beneath her overwhelming obsession. Chains broke midair. Shock spread across faces. He was no longer trapped in her embrace. A powerful magic flung him away, his desperate spell, wings of desertion, severing their cursed connection. She stared upward, trembling. Realization struck. Once again, he had escaped her hands. If only briefly, fury consumed her twisted face. Sanity crumbled. She shrieked words, pain, rage, and madness all combined. He crawled through the grass, heart racing. Escape seemed pointless, yet he refused to surrender. Chains of despair tightened in his mind. Even as a baby, memories whispered, "Defeat her." A glimmer of power appeared above. Determination returned as he stared at the floating stone. Clenching his fists, he remembered his vow. Using wings of desertion, he would protect everyone. Resolute eyes burned. This fight was inevitable. He wouldn't let her steal everything again. She searched with glowing hands. He watched, hidden, unsure how to use his rising power. Dark thoughts crept in. Maybe lifting her skyward, then letting her crash would end everything. A sudden blaze erupted nearby. He gasped, recognizing the fire's aura. Annelli had joined the fight. She smiled madly, revealing her mastery. Spiritual arts of fire flickered wildly in her twisted hands. Flames devoured the forest. Her threat was clear: burn everything. Mansion included, if he stayed hidden. Despite its size, the fire's power terrified him. He couldn't let it touch him. Finally, the spell succeeded. With fierce determination, he launched himself into the sky once again. She roared in rage, wounded, humiliated, and furious. Her words cracked under the weight of betrayal. Flying fast, he spotted the spirit stone. Survival now depended on reaching it before collapse. Energy surged as he neared impact. Behind him, fire roared ahead. Salvation shimmered in glowing light. Her eye widened with madness as a massive rock suddenly floated before her, unnaturally suspended. Shock hit him too late. She leapt toward him, and gravity reversed with terrifying speed. Confusion overwhelmed his thoughts. Why had the floating stone stopped? Was it someone else's magic? Midair, his leg caught. Something clung tight. Panic surged. He was no longer in control. Strands of magical force trapped his limbs, suspended helplessly. He floated in a web. Like binding, strings shimmered in the air. He realized he'd been caught. Her words chilled him even further. The truth snapped into place. Annelli's hair had halted the rock, woven like a magical web. She claimed their bond was fate, her madness tightening as magical strings danced between her fingers. Understanding dawned. The fire wasn't conjured, it spread from her hair, igniting the forest like tinder. Her unique body functioned like fuel. Hair became kindling. Trees burned. This was her terrifying power. Her arms wrapped around him tightly. From above, it seemed like the end had arrived. But he reached out, refusing surrender. His spirit declared, even feelings and fate could be rejected. A sudden force burst outward. Leaves scattered. Power surged. Something was breaking free from her control. She gasped in disbelief, wind howling. Her balance slipped as the tide of control shifted unexpectedly. With focused calm, he explained he'd stolen air's weight itself, manipulating heat with wings of desertion. Removing air's weight dropped pressure. Condensed wind ignited her body weapon turned against its owner. He offered flames freely, daring her to embrace the fire she'd once claimed as power. Inferno consumed her body, she screamed, voice lost in the blaze, writhing in uncontrollable agony. The boy stood firm, she twisted violently. Her form distorted as flames tore her apart. Even with terror in his eyes, he watched it burn his only path to freedom. She screamed, detonating her own hand, unleashing an explosion fierce enough to shock everyone nearby. Pain tore through her arm, yet determination held strong as she used destruction to gain advantage. Her body surged forward, explosion propelling her toward the enemy with unstoppable force. Breaking through violent resistance, impact crushed into the foe, scattering debris, while allies watched, stunned at her reckless but powerful gamble. Friends realized her sacrifice. Astonished, she destroyed her own hand simply to launch herself forward. The child tumbled helplessly across the battlefield, smoke and dust covering his trembling figure. As chaos raged, he struggled to rise, shaken by fear, until a horrifying sight slowly emerged before his eyes. Her body, burned and broken, still moved with obsession, approaching with twisted words and deranged devotion. She lunged forward, face twisted with obsession. He froze, seeing those chains from his tortured past. No matter the world, her presence haunted him. Escape through reincarnation proved utterly meaningless. With trembling breath, she offered comfort laced in madness. Her words drenched him in unbearable dread again. Paralyzed beneath endless chains, he recalled everything. Terror gripped harder than steel, while friends vanished before helpless eyes. Even in this new life, nothing changed, powerless again. He realized destiny hadn't shifted at all. Chains held him mid-air, pulling tighter from all sides, leaving no room to move or resist. Pain surged through every limb as he struggled. Each breath echoed in the silent void. Memories of fear resurfaced, yet he shouted back, promising to destroy those chains with his own hands. A glowing blade descended toward him, silent and sharp, offering a chance he didn't understand yet. Light exploded in every direction, tearing through chains, unleashing something dormant deep within his soul. The chains cracked, snapped one by one, light surging through every link, shattering his restraints. She watched stunned, clutching him close. Confusion filled her eyes as the ground trembled beneath them. Sudden quakes erupted around her. Earth split apart violently, driven by something beyond reason or control. A massive force tore skyward. Debris spiraled while chains vanished. His awakening shattered all spiritual laws. Rising calmly through the chaos, his body glowed. The divine technique had finally awakened Spiritual Roost. Spiritual Roost, a rare power held by 72, born from the original spirits themselves. Before him appeared Wings of Desertion, one of the 72, now bonded, as the root of strength. It was the 65th spirit, representing freedom, a symbol no chain could ever suppress again. She praised him manically, thrilled by power. Her twisted obsession still clung despite the overwhelming miracle. No longer trembling, he raised a hand, eyes cold and certain. One word followed. Die. A blinding impact struck the earth. Her body trembled as light and dust exploded upward. Hovering above the destruction, he stared silently, unsure whether that devastating blast truly ended her. Raindrops touched his face. Confusion flickered. Peace felt near, but something in the air twisted wrong. From beneath the rubble, her monstrous form surged upward, screaming, torn, but impossibly still alive. With a crazed grip, she clutched him tight, promising they'd never be separated again ever. She sacrificed her right leg, soaring through smoke, using every last ember to seize him. Weight magic failed mid-air. Her downward force overwhelmed him, making resistance in this child's body impossible. Only one option remained: lead her into terrain, where flames would become her greatest weakness. As they plummeted together, he twisted, shifting their fall toward the jagged cliffs below. Collision shattered the ground. Her burned body was flung aside, limbs torn by impact, collapsed in the mud. He gasped for air. His body screamed, too damaged to continue long. A waterfall roared beside him. If used right, it could nullify her burning advantage completely. She emerged within the cascade, impressed by his clever move, yet fully aware of his plan. Despite fear, he stood firm. Her limbs were failing. Dodging was now no longer possible. Surrounded by unleashed force, he declared the final blow. The trap had worked. Checkmate was his. She coughed blood but smiled, whispering how vulgar he'd made her behave in battle. A second explosion followed instantly, burying them both beneath stone, heat, and collapsed debris. Even humiliated, she mocked him for ruining her girly image, then slowly emerged from the waterfall again. With wild eyes and twisted joy, she lunged, capturing him tightly, screaming she'd never let go. Her madness deepened, ranting about love and murder. She swore he'd remain hers forever. As bubbles floated upward, silence thickened. He'd already begun shifting the weight within the waterfall. She noticed too late. Her expression twisted from triumph to shock. Realizing what he'd truly done, water swirled above her, gravity reversed, stolen, stripped away, all momentum stolen from her overwhelming advantage. While she monologued, he slowly drained the waterfall's weight, bit by bit preparing the decisive trap. It was a miracle. With nothing left, he bluffed, struck, and reversed their hopeless situation. He declared the final trap, voice fierce. The guillotine of weight had been perfectly positioned. Tons of stolen water hovered overhead. His lesson would crush her beyond recovery or retaliation. Grabbing her arm tightly, he blocked her escape. She realized, too late, he'd sealed their fate. Wings of desertion activated. She flailed in panic, powerless, yet he hesitated, despite every injury and betrayal. Memories of Anneli surfaced. Even now, deep inside, he still couldn't reject her as family. With 3 fingers raised, the child gave one final chance for forgiveness and explanation. Despite the desperate cries, the count continued. Seconds ticked down. No answer came. Silence remained. She screamed her love, obsession spilling out, claiming eternal devotion, twisted beyond all reason or sanity. He calmly acknowledged her words, then revealed the cost. Everyone dear to him was slaughtered. Pointing at her face, he named her evil devil in human skin. Everything ended with her. Her body convulsed violently, as his power surged, tearing through everything she had left inside. She laughed brokenly through blood and madness. He stood firm, unmoved by her final act. Even with torn flesh and fading breath, her smile remained. She confessed her love again. With clenched fist and unwavering resolve, he struck the final blow, sending her plummeting below. Now floating helplessly in shallow waters, her screams echoed empty, endless, lost in silent agony. As silence fell, something deeper awakened within his body. Floated, watched by an unseen presence. He cried out, unable to understand. She was gone, yet sorrow still pierced through his chest. Resolved to change, he vowed a peaceful life. For once, he'd live for himself. Behind the curtain, darkness stirred. A presence long buried began to take center stage again, smiling playfully. She mocked her defeat. Death meant nothing. Her obsession would never truly vanish. Despite her death, euphoria filled her. Just speaking to him again made everything worthwhile. Standing center stage, she celebrated loudly, declaring to all her undying love for her brother. She grinned into the darkness, vowing a return. The twisted performance was far from over. New neighbors arrived with boxes. A curious girl stepped out. Spotting a shy boy nearby, she called out to him directly, surprising the quiet boy and his sister hiding behind him. Whispering softly, the sister urged him forward, and he introduced himself for the first time ever. Smiling warmly, the girl responded cheerfully, gently pulling the sister closer, declaring, "Nice to meet you." With bright eyes and open heart, she prepared to share her name, sealing their bond. Jack collapsed in the training field again, bothered by the strange silence in summer air. 7 years passed since reincarnation. Now called Jack Lieber, he trained tirelessly to master his spirit power. Every day he endured exhausting effort to control wings of desertion, aiming to manipulate his floating ability. His current objective was simple, yet difficult: to leap high into the air using wind. By understanding wind mechanics precisely, he used floating selectively, gaining footholds and launching himself skyward repeatedly. Despite limited success, Jack trained relentlessly, aiming for admission into the Royal Academy of Spiritual Arts. Determined to earn a recommendation, he responded confidently when his noble father suddenly called out. At a formal meeting, Jack impressed Chernoposford, who mentioned his missing daughter, Feline, causing concern. Eager to help, Jack offered to search for Feline, hoping to make a good impression. He began searching the mansion, questioning servants and guests, realizing she may have gone outside alone. Jack's mother approached quietly, asking if the rumor about him searching for Feline was true. After receiving permission, Jack stepped outside, soon encountering an unusual white rabbit near the garden fence. Holding the rabbit, he noticed broken boards and feared Feline had wandered into the forest alone. Worried, he ran into the woods, calling her name, unsure of what he'd find. Suddenly, a loud scream echoed. Feline tumbled down, clearly in danger and needing immediate help. Using wings of desertion, Jack grabbed Feline mid-fall, lifting her safely before she hit ground. Amazed by floating, she spun mid-air, ignoring Jack's warning, and crashed with a loud ouch. Despite the tumble, Feline reassured him she was fine. Introducing herself as Posford Company's daughter, Jack confirmed her identity, explained his concern, and asked why she'd wandered into the forest alone. Before returning, Feline grabbed Jack's hand excitedly, dragging him toward an open field to play. As she turned, her familiar chestnut hair and nostalgic voice pulled something from Jack's distant memory. Feline smiled brightly, asking Jack's name, her face almost overlapping with someone dear from his childhood. They exchanged names with laughter, Feline trying different nicknames, until settling excitedly on Jakun. Jack asked what to call her. She happily answered, Phil, twirling while shouting his name with joy. Reaching the wide clearing, Phil jumped around gleefully, marveling at the wind and endless open field. Feline tripped while running excitedly, but before Jack could reach her, she crashed down hard. They found a girl collapsed in the grass, long hair sprawled, unmoving and unresponsive. Assuming the worst, Jack leaned forward to check her pulse. Panic rising, was it a corpse? As he examined her ears, realization struck. This wasn't ordinary, she was clearly an elf. Feline screamed and bolted. Jack panicked, facing something strange and dark, begging her not to leave. The elf woman finally stirred, eyes half open, softly muttering her first words. She was just hungry. As she leaned forward, Jack tried stepping back, but stumbled from the unexpected closeness and pressure. Without warning, she collapsed directly on top of him, rendering Jack completely trapped and speechless. Sunday blazed above while Feline watched nervously. Jack could only groan under the unconscious woman's weight. That was how Jack met Feline and the collapsed, busty elf, who changed everything. She muttered softly. Still resting in the grass, her body warm, her presence oddly comforting. Back at the mansion, Raquel devoured food nonstop, stacking empty plates higher than anyone expected. The others watched in disbelief as she finished her meal, casually explaining how they found her. Afterward, Raquel introduced herself properly, sharing she'd been traveling and forgot to prepare enough supplies. When asked why, she revealed her mission, collecting various spiritual arts scattered throughout the world. Rather than explain, Raquel demonstrated her powers directly, conjuring an ability called the Light of Dawn. She followed it up with another technique, summoning water through the ocean's hand simultaneously. Everyone was shocked. Jack questioned how she wielded two spiritual arts, something thought to be impossible. Raquel explained she inherited the art plunderer of God's will from the Great Spirit Shacks. With it, she can mimic others' spiritual arts after witnessing and identifying them, though only two simultaneously. Feline dashes ahead, excitedly, calling him over. She trips and tumbles into the grassy field. Landing hard, she gasps. Beneath her body, an unconscious elf girl lies motionless in the grass. They panic, unsure if she is alive. He hesitates, then moves closer to check for a pulse. His fingers tremble as he notices the pointy ears. Shocked, he realizes she is an elf. A sudden scream echoes. Feline flees terrified. Shadows loom. He shouts after her, heart racing fast. The family gathered for dinner as Raquel was suddenly introduced as the boy's new tutor. Doubt filled the room. The boy questioned whether someone like her could teach him anything worthwhile. Smirking quietly, he prepared to demonstrate his strength, planning to surprise everyone with overwhelming magical power. With ease, he lifted a massive boulder, shocking the observers and leaving Raquel speechless. Staring in awe, Raquel pondered his lineage. finally acknowledging his rare gift beyond ordinary comprehension. Raquel smiled with interest, recognizing his strength and potential. Her evaluation turned sharply serious afterward. Without warning, she launched upward repeatedly, astounding him with impossible aerial movement, far beyond ordinary magic capabilities. Suddenly, she grabbed him mid-air, scolding his arrogance while keeping him suspended effortlessly. With one hand calmly pointing out his flaws, she praised his power but criticized his complete lack of control and discipline. With firm dominance, she demanded proper respect, forcing him to call her master before continuing any further training. Raquel introduced herself as Jack's new teacher, offering guidance and purpose within his uncertain life. Dark memories resurfaced, showing twisted laughter and blood-stained faces, reminding Jack of torment inflicted by his brother. Raquel trained him strictly, teaching spiritual arts must become natural, like moving arms or walking. During exhausting push-ups, Raquel pressed harder, forcing him to endure despite weakness, demanding improvement and discipline. Memories of tragedy resurfaced, fueling his anger. He sought strength to protect against repeated devastating losses. Frustration overwhelmed him. Powerless feelings erupted as he screamed hatred for his inability to protect anything. Raquel comforted him gently, assuring his struggles held meaning, giving hope that perseverance would lead forward. Raquel declared her purpose clearly, determined to shape his strength through harsh yet necessary training. Small rabbits carried supplies, preparing tea and food, arranging everything carefully for a peaceful gathering outdoors. Filine excitedly presented the picnic, proudly inviting Jakun to enjoy the food with everyone. Raquel acknowledged Filine's unique spiritual art, admiring her ability to command animals with natural friendship. After gaining permission, Filine officially joined training, happily practicing alongside Jakun under Raquel's guidance. Jakun ate nervously, noticing Filine's strange behavior. While Raquel calmly continued enjoying her food, Filine gathered courage, nervously asking Jakun to accompany her during the upcoming Harvest Festival celebration. Embarrassed, she panicked when he discovered her written request, desperately trying to snatch the paper back. The Harvest Festival was an important autumn tradition, drawing many visitors and becoming a grand celebration. Despite confusion, Jakun agreed to join, surprising Filine, who blushed happily at his acceptance. Raquel reminded him of his goal, questioning his hesitation, despite claiming he wanted strength. She explained calmly that completing today's tasks could earn rest, though discipline must remain absolute. Suddenly, Raquel's swift movement caught Jakun off guard, throwing him down before he reacted. She emphasized immediate activation of spiritual arts, stressing power meant nothing without speed against surprise attacks. Demonstrating with a blade, Raquel warned his delay could cost his life against true professionals. Raquel set his new target at 0.2 seconds, demanding sharper reflexes during training. Jakun encouraged Filine, reassuring her with confidence they would attend the Harvest Festival together someday. Training intensified further when Jakun struggled desperately to control a massive wolf charging forward. Despite exhaustion, encouragement from Filine lifted his spirits, though Raquel demanded greater focus and discipline. Raquel revealed deeper knowledge, explaining wings of desertion influenced gravity, pressure, inertia, even the world itself. Jakun realized controlling inertia during movement meant mastering balance, preventing himself from being thrown off. Raquel introduced high-speed techniques, swallow and albatross, explaining mastery required endless practice for instant combat use. Hearing this, Jakun wondered if he could truly achieve such skills, while Filine cheered joyfully. Raquel pressed him directly, demanding his decision, forcing Jakun to confront doubts about his determination. With renewed resolve, Jakun shouted confidently, vowing to succeed and devote everything toward completing his training. Jakun leapt fearlessly, surprising Filine, as Raquel observed silently, testing his resolve and courage. Raquel's harsh training included countless dangerous surprises. Yet Jakun endured, determined to grow stronger regardless. Time passed steadily. Jakun rode alongside the wolf, training tirelessly beneath falling autumn leaves. Focused determination filled his eyes, commanding the wolf's movements with precision while controlling spiritual arts. His mastery grew sharper, wolf and rider moving fluidly together, slicing swiftly through the dense forest. Raquel unleashed another challenge, hurling boulders, forcing Jakun to react instantly using spiritual arts. He narrowly avoided the crushing impact, pushing his body harder to survive the relentless trials. Raquel measured his performance carefully, announcing his improved reaction time had reached half a second. Though frustrated, Jae-kun accepted the result, and Raquel granted him permission to attend. She explained his rapid growth surpassed expectations, justifying her harsh training and acknowledging his remarkable potential. Feline cried, anxiously, but Jae-kun promised as a teacher he'd prioritize supporting his students. Raquel smiled warmly, suggesting they all attend the festival together, lifting everyone's spirits immediately. Feline hugged Jae-kun joyfully, celebrating their chance to go, while he thanked Raquel sincerely. Preparations for the evening festival began. Decorations filled the town as anticipation steadily grew. Crowds gathered quickly under lanterns and banners, the lively harvest festival becoming busier than previous years. Jae-kun and Feline explored the lively festival together, searching for Raquel among the cheering crowds. Feline wandered into a shop secretly, flustered when Jae-kun discovered her acting strangely near accessories. She admired the beautiful ribbons, hesitating, while Jae-kun asked curiously if she wanted one. Feline admitted her insecurity, believing she wasn't girly enough, despite others saying girls should be ladylike. Jae-kun reassured her confidently, choosing a ribbon and offering to help improve her appearance kindly. Feline's eyes sparkled with joy as Jae-kun tied the ribbon gently onto her hair. Though embarrassed, she doubted herself, but Jae-kun reassured her she looked good no matter what. Fireworks lit the sky as Feline blushed deeply, shyly asking Jae-kun if he thought she cute. Raquel appeared suddenly, towering over them, breaking the moment with her imposing presence. Unexpectedly drunk, Raquel clung to Jae-kun, leaving him flustered, while Feline stood shocked and speechless. Raquel admitted she underestimated him initially, but now believed his growth proved his true potential. Together they approached the festival square, music echoing, where Raquel suggested enjoying themselves among the crowd. Feline eagerly pulled Jae-kun forward, fireworks bursting above, her excitement infectious, despite his flustered protests. Amid laughter and lights, Jae-kun watched Feline smile, while Raquel quietly observed their joyful bond. Inside the noble estate, troubling news spread quickly. Whispers carried the feared name Crimson Cats. Confusion filled the room as everyone listened, their concern growing when warned about dangerous bandit activity. Reports revealed 30 ruthless men roaming freely, looting villages, kidnapping innocents, and boasting of unmatched strength. Rumors spoke further of their leader, a woman mastering powerful spiritual arts beyond comparison. Advised to remain cautious, they promised vigilance, avoiding darkness outside, fearing Crimson Cat's unexpected night strike. Guests were invited to stay overnight, leading to Feline's excitement, as she cheered for sleepover. Later, the boy entered the spacious bath alone, trying to relax after the day's unsettling warnings. His companions insisted they all bathe together, ignoring protests, reminding him cleanliness was important before resting. Inside the steaming water, differences in lifespan amazed him, while Feline splashed joyfully without worry. The large room impressed Feline greatly, running around playfully, while he nervously warned her to behave. Steam parted, revealing the elf calmly bathing, her graceful presence causing his startled reaction immediately. His eyes widened uncontrollably, heart racing, while the elf simply looked back, confused by his expression. Overwhelmed, he compared the sensation to an unbearable shock, his thoughts spiraling into chaotic exaggerations instantly. Struggling for control, he panicked, fearing his body's reaction would betray him before her gaze. Reality struck hard. Despite mature thoughts, he was still 7, his child's body unable to withstand. The elf calmly washed beside them, her composed expression contrasting his increasingly flustered reaction inside. Her beauty overwhelmed him, making his thoughts scatter, as he struggled to maintain focus and composure. Embarrassed, he realized the reality of a woman's body, shock coursing through his young mind. Thoughts spiraled further. Raquel's ageless elf beauty meant future training together might become unbearably distracting during puberty. Quickly covering his reaction, he claimed observation was training, while Feline innocently accepted his awkward explanation completely. Feline innocently commented on Raquel's maturity, while he awkwardly agreed, hiding his nervous thoughts carefully. Suddenly, Feline pointed out something embarrassing, loudly questioning his body, causing panic and uncontrollable embarrassment everywhere. Her innocent words shocked everyone, Feline's expression turning red with confusion while Raquel quickly reacted flustered. Raquel blushed uncontrollably, struggling with her feelings, while he nervously stammered, calling her unexpectedly cute under pressure. Responsibility shifted unfairly. Raquel pushed explanation onto him, leaving the boy cornered to awkwardly clarify everything. Raquel admitted embarrassment, lacking experience herself, her cheeks red as tension lingered in the steamy bath. He dismissed it inwardly, but Raquel quickly assigned him punishing training, ensuring discipline for wandering thoughts. With a serious tone, she declared his punishment, harsher drills for gazing at her improperly. Later, Feline cheerfully announced everyone would sleep together, while Raquel and he exchanged uneasy reactions. Feline leapt onto the fluffy bed excitedly, while the others followed, uncertain about the arrangement. That night, Feline cuddled close to Raquel, enjoying warmth, while he lay beside them quietly. He gazed at them. Realizing the closeness felt unusual, almost like a family sharing peaceful comfort. Curious and nervous, he asked Raquel permission to move closer, and she allowed without hesitation. Nestling against her, warmth and safety filled him, though an unfamiliar desire stirred within his thoughts. Suddenly, he unconsciously grabbed Raquel, shocking them both, as her surprised reaction broke the night's calm. Raquel scolded him harshly for his mistake, declaring tomorrow's training would be brutally harder. Feline misinterpreted everything innocently, announcing Ja-kun touched Raquel, then cheerfully offered herself for hugs instead. Their playful antics continued, laughter filling the room, while Raquel observed their closeness with thoughtful eyes. She explained childhood bonds endure, urging them to grow together, though he questioned its importance quietly. Feline affectionately described Ja-kun's kindness, simple moments cherished deeply, while he awkwardly realized her genuine admiration. Feline confessed sincerely, saying Ja-kun was always kind, her eyes sparkling under the moonlight's glow. Raquel acknowledged her words, teasing gently that Ja-kun clearly favored Feline, making his face flush deeply. Raquel suddenly asked if Feline wanted to marry Ja-kun, shocking him with the direct question. Feline hesitated nervously, glancing toward him, her cheeks bright red as silence filled the heavy moment. Finally, embarrassed but resolute, Feline whispered her answer, softly admitting yes while Raquel quietly observed everything. Raquel encouraged Feline warmly, while Ja-kun nervously realized expectations about becoming husband and bride grew. Feline celebrated cheerfully, hugging a pillow with excitement, while Ja-kun sighed, unsure how to respond properly. Later that night, Feline whispered his name softly, startling Ja-kun awake, beside Raquel's sleeping figure. Confused, he noticed Feline crawling closer under blankets, her serious expression leaving him flustered and panicked. Face to face in silence, Feline demanded quiet, her closeness intensifying the moment, leaving Ja-kun speechless with anticipation. Feline reminded him about Raquel's promised present, curiosity sparking as they recalled her earlier words. Raquel confirmed she would gift him something tomorrow, meant to strengthen him, making Feline excited too. Later, lying together, Feline nervously asked if his earlier words about being her husband were sincere. She admitted overhearing maids' gossip, gathering courage before expressing her feelings, cheeks burning under his gaze. Overwhelmed, Feline suddenly kissed him, leaving Ja-kun wide-eyed, stunned by her bold and unexpected action. She nervously asked about couples' expectations, while he hesitated, uncertain about what should happen. Moments later, courage overcame hesitation, and their lips touched softly, sealing a memory neither could forget. Afterward, he questioned with genuine innocence, wondering if every couple was truly expected to continue. She answered gently, reminding him not to forget this moment. Her eyes filled with warmth. Days later, they built a snowman together, celebrating quietly, their bond growing stronger through shared memories. Children cheered loudly beside the snowman, their voices echoing joyfully through the snowy decorated street. He watched their happiness quietly, admitting defeat with a small smile, as laughter surrounded the group. Later that night, both awoke in silence, sharing glances while lying together beneath warm blankets. Morning arrived gently, and greetings were exchanged softly, their bond feeling stronger after yesterday's shared experiences. Embarrassment soon overwhelmed her, hiding her face shyly, though her heart carried warmth from their closeness. She giggled softly while he scratched his cheek, both feeling awkward, yet unable to hide smiles. Searching the lavish room, they realized someone important was missing, leaving an uncertain silence between them. Their eyes met nervously, her laughter trembling, while he gently reached forward, calling her uncertainly. His hand brushed against her hair, hesitation clear, yet closeness slowly dissolved the remaining distance. She reassured him with a tender smile, whispering acceptance, easing his worries, and strengthening their bond. Their emotions overflowed, words faltering as hearts pounded, uncertain yet drawn irresistibly closer in confession. Suddenly, their master entered, interrupting the fragile moment, leaving both startled and scrambling for composure. The master scolded sharply, reminding them of discipline, while Jack nervously apologized for his carelessness. She mentioned a promised present, leaving them curious, then departed, granting freedom until afternoon's return. Left alone again, she softly suggested restarting, her eyes hopeful, seeking courage to continue together. He wondered if their relationship was already changing, realizing how much had happened in one day. Despite confusion, his heart raced whenever he looked at her, excitement stirring beyond his control. She reminded him of their task, suggesting a gift for their master before afternoon's return. Energized, they agreed and set out together, determined to prepare something meaningful and heartfelt. Meanwhile, elsewhere in a dark fortress, shadows stirred ominously, signaling danger soon approaching their lives. Within the fortress, a wounded figure collapsed on the ground, barely conscious, clenched fist trembling painfully. He awoke suddenly on cold stone, disoriented, with fragments of memory slipping away into darkness. Phil stood nearby, trembling yet relieved, both uncertain how they had arrived within such strange surroundings. Shadows revealed iron bars enclosing them tightly, confirming their fears. This was unmistakably a stone prison. A mysterious figure appeared, acknowledging their awakening, her calm demeanor concealing unknown intentions within this confinement. Confusion overwhelmed him as painful memories flickered. Outside, life continued peacefully, unaware of their imprisonment's reality. They accepted drinks from strangers, unaware of the hidden danger behind the welcoming smiles and gestures. Realization struck hard: those drinks contained drugs, leading directly to their capture and imprisonment within hostile walls. Memories returned clearly. Warnings about Crimson Cat's bandits confirmed the kidnappers responsible for their current situation. Other children revealed similar fates, each captured unexpectedly, trapped for days without hope of immediate rescue. The bruises and bandages covering young captives' bodies showed cruel treatment endured, igniting determination within his heart. Trembling spread among captives as armored footsteps echoed, signaling terrifying inspections by their ruthless captors. Curiosity mixed with dread while he observed approaching guards, uncertain about the meaning behind these inspections. Two intimidating figures entered boldly, revealing themselves as the notorious Crimson Cat's bandit leaders. The woman, a fierce spiritual arts user, smiled menacingly, exuding authority and overwhelming confidence. She appraised him carefully, declaring his noble background valuable, planning to sell him for great profit. The bandits announced a twisted casino, selecting prisoners as unwilling participants for their cruel entertainment. Terror consumed the chosen child, her face distorted with unimaginable fear of what awaited. Desperation filled the air, she begged endlessly, preferring anything else rather than facing that ordeal. A sudden force struck violently, hurling her body across the cell without physical contact. Observers realized the female chieftain wielded mysterious spiritual arts, manipulating energy invisibly to subdue captives. A guard noticed his composure, questioning his calmness compared to terrified children trembling inside the cell. Feigning humor, he mocked their leader mercilessly, disguising defiance beneath laughter while insulting her foul presence. Enraged by his words, the captors struck violently, sending his body crashing against the iron bars. She revealed her name with authority: Vicky, the Bloody Leopard, feared chieftain of Crimson Cats. Bruised yet alive, he reassured his companion softly, while their captors retreated into hidden passageways. He analyzed Vicky's attack carefully, realizing her strange power struck from directions unrelated to her movements. Though shaken, he urged Phil to stay focused and relay their location to trusted allies quickly. Phil agreed confidently, preparing to use her abilities while surprising others with her hidden resourcefulness. Spiritual arts summoned birds, responding cheerfully, astonishing the prisoners with her sudden unexpected display of talent. Through the birds, a message was sent. Reinforcements could arrive within merely 90 minutes. He mentioned Raquel, confident she would respond quickly, then asked the other children for their names. Declaring firmly, he promised everyone rescue, reassuring them help would arrive within 90 minutes. Phil realized bandits could use children as hostages, complicating any confrontation between rescuers and captors. She demanded head pats for courage, while he explained his calmness stemmed from deep knowledge of spiritual arts. Phil enthusiastically declared him a hero of justice, leaving him embarrassed before the watching children. He hesitated briefly, then declared confidently, they were heroes of justice, inspiring hope within frightened children. The captives looked on with renewed faith, believing every one of them could be saved. His determination strengthened, vowing clearly to lead everyone out of this nightmare together. The Crimson Cat's chieftain reappeared, mocking him arrogantly, promising his words would soon become worthless. Carefully, he assessed their enemy's power, knowing an escape attempt endangered the many children present. A hidden wall revealed an ancient map, showing the fortress's maze. Like structure and forgotten dead, N's exhaustion weakened Benny, but he pressed forward, marching alongside the others under bandit supervision. They were led into a courtyard filled with armed men, the so-called casino beginning. The chieftain announced roulette, exciting the bandits, while the children realized something sinister was coming. Cheers erupted as prisoners were paraded forward, leaving him horrified, questioning what cruel game awaited them. A helpless boar was strapped down, bandits preparing rehearsal for their sadistic spectacle before prisoners. The chieftain explained twisted rules, betting on dismemberment, while ensuring the animal itself remained alive. He trembled, realizing children were next. The bandits treated lives as entertainment for their cruel game. Bandits danced proudly, chanting their depravity, celebrating cruelty, while mocking the helpless captives standing nearby. One executioner approached, demanding a choice: hands, feet, or worse, while raising his blade threateningly. The executioner swung dangerously close, demanding an answer, intensifying fear among the trembling children. A wild strike narrowly missed, the boar's screams echoing as panic spread among captive witnesses. He boldly questioned their intentions, accusing them of destroying valuable merchandise they planned on selling. The chieftain laughed darkly, admitting customers varied from sadists demanding mutilation to nobles craving unblemished victims. Leaning closer, she whispered menacingly, hinting at powerful buyers benefiting from their cruel trade. A grotesque straw figure stood pierced with human limbs, eyes and hands decorating its cursed frame. Two travelers encountered the horrific scarecrow, its presence radiating malice, while a monstrous eye suddenly appeared. Locals explained casually, revealing discarded human parts were repurposed as scarecrows, mocking life and terrifying him deeply. Memories of his sister's suffering resurfaced, fueling rage as he condemned them as unforgivable monsters. Captives trembled as sadistic tormentors prepared a feast, mocking them cruelly, deciding who would be devoured first. The terrified child begged desperately, clutching at the giant's boots, while others cried hopelessly for mercy. Jakun hesitated, surrounded by overwhelming enemies, torn between launching an attack or protecting his endangered companions. A cruel captor cornered Benny, mocking resistance and announcing intentions to sell him at a price. Suddenly, Benny's body collapsed violently onto the ground, shocking the surrounding crowd with unexpected force. In an instant, spirit arts transported Benny onto the torture table, leaving Jakun stunned and horrified. The bandits revealed their leader's terrifying power, an instantaneous movement spiritual art known as Sacrament's Whole. Jakun realized this ability was incredibly rare, usually reserved for masters, making its presence here unbelievable. Meanwhile, Benny screamed desperately, shackled to the torture table, begging for someone to rescue him. Jakun clenched his teeth, remembering his vow to protect friends, searching desperately for an opening. The bandit leader announced the gruesome performance, demanding victims' body parts as entertainment for his cheering crew. The executioner raised his blade above Benny, singing mockingly, deciding which body part to sever first. Suddenly, flocks of crows descended, disrupting the torturer, their wings shielding Benny from the fatal strike. Phil invoked the crows' power, channeling their rage to overwhelm bandits, granting Jakun a chance. Together they shattered the restraints, Jakun rescuing Benny while Phil supported, vowing to fight harder. Bandits faltered as chaos spread, yet their leader remained unshaken, preparing to retaliate with overwhelming strength. The furious bandit leader screamed uncontrollably, his rage exploding after being humiliated by the children's interference. He lunged forward with murderous intent, determined to crush them before they could fully escape. Using his overwhelming strength, he tried seizing the cage, dragging Benny back under his control. Jakun resisted desperately, commanding the crows to protect them while strategizing their next move. They planned to mislead pursuers toward the city, then secretly retreat to regroup with their allies. Jakun clenched his fists with determination, vowing to rescue everyone and lead them safely to freedom. Shattered wood exploded around them, as Jakun pulled both girls away from collapsing wreckage's deadly impact. They landed safely, confusion filling the air, as Jakun calmly explained his ability and urgent intentions. Among the broken remains, Jakun noticed something strange. An unsettling sensation echoing through the abandoned fort's silence. Thou questioned. Jakun brushed concerns aside, hiding the unease, growing stronger near the ominously creaking debris. Together, they ran through the fortress corridors, determination outweighing exhaustion, as Jakun reassured companions, despite looming danger. Before them stood the prison's window, barred tightly, sparking hesitation yet stirring desperate determination. With a sudden move, Jakun destabilized the wall, shocking companions, as stones collapsed, revealing hidden passage. He explained calmly, describing how his floating power nullified pressure, enabling precise removal of stone. Rescued captives gazed in awe, calling them heroes, while Jakun's group promised safety and assistance. Gathered together, Jakun instructed everyone firmly, urging calm cooperation, promising escape from the prison's suffocating walls. Jakun led the rescued group, considering options to escape, while fearing enemies might pursue relentlessly. Phil responded immediately, sending animal scouts to patrol the area, ensuring safety from unexpected ambushes. With confidence regained, Jakun declared their next step, determined to guide everyone out of danger. Though scouts signaled safety, Jakun worried about alternate routes, fearing hidden threats within the fortress. Suddenly, a terrifying figure emerged from darkness, confronting Jakun directly, declaring with menace, "Found you." Jakun realized, too late, the enemy tracked Phil's rats, teleporting directly before their terrified group. A ferocious warrior appeared, mocking them as disobedient brats, launching a devastating strike without hesitation. Despite the overwhelming presence, Jakun grinned confidently, already analyzing and unraveling the enemy's fighting techniques. Using his unique ability, Jakun disrupted the foe's attacks, forcing their body into disarray. Enraged and humiliated, the warrior roared threats of tearing Jakun apart and selling him mercilessly. Jakun quickly ordered retreat, guiding everyone toward a concealed chamber, desperate for temporary safety inside. The group hid among scattered crates, Jakun instructing silence while calculating their next cautious move. Tension filled the cramped room. Companions whispered nervously, trying to lighten mood despite looming threats. Sudden footsteps approached, humming echoed eerily, triggering Jakun's sharp memories of danger and violent encounters. Haunted by past trauma, Jakun's mind spiraled, knowing one mistake against ruthless enemies meant death. Phil's reassurance steadied Jakun's trembling resolve, reminding him not to fear and face danger directly. Embraced tightly, Jakun felt his burden ease, reminded he wasn't alone against overwhelming enemies anymore. Moments of calm passed, but questions lingered. Strange voices echoed, uncertainty growing as allies disappeared. Jakun realized running wasn't enough. Their pursuer knew their exact position within the abandoned fortress. Confusion deepened. How could enemies track them so precisely? Suspicion arose. Someone monitored their every move. Frustrated, Jakun speculated enemies transmitted sound through the void hole, tracking movements with impossible precision. They realized defeating the powerful enemy leader was essential, though their current strength limited decisive action. Phil asked about Jakun's teleportation, seeking clarity on how he controlled such dangerous instantaneous movement. Jakun explained void hole mechanics, its limitations and dangers, analyzing potential ways to exploit weaknesses. Investigating carefully, Jakun searched the room, suddenly startled by a suspicious knock echoing ominously nearby. The enemy mocked, smashing the door violently, forcing Jakun's group into another desperate escape. With terrifying strength, their pursuer broke inside, confirming she tracked them relentlessly without mistake. Jakun invoked his technique, Wings of Desertion, sending crates crashing down to block pursuit. Roaring furiously, the enemy fought through falling debris, determined to break open their barricaded hiding. Jakun braced himself, watching the enemy push closer, realizing this confrontation couldn't be avoided anymore. The enraged warrior smashed through walls, prompting Jakun to rally everyone toward an alternate escape route. Children rushed frantically, as Jakun ordered them to flee, determined to stall the relentless pursuer. Suddenly, debris exploded around him, the enemy's overwhelming force crushing crates and scattering wooden fragments. The monstrous foe advanced with terrifying rage, her eyes locked solely on Jakun's determined figure. Just in time, an ally extended a hand urging Jakun to hurry inside. The warrior smashed through the barrier, screaming threats, as Jakun braced with determined defiance. With terrifying force, she lunged forward. But Jakun's ally signaled the perfect counterattack moment. A devastating blow struck the warrior, hurling her backward violently, shock and pain twisting her face. Pinned against crumbling stone, her furious expression contorted. Struggling yet unable to regain control, the collapsing fortress buried her beneath rubble, leaving Jakun and companions staring in tense silence. Relief filled the survivors, but Jakun noticed Benny's trembling fear beneath his grateful embrace. Phil urged haste, warning the battle wasn't finished, and their foe might still rise. Questions troubled Jakun. Why had Vicky stalled earlier, hindered by nothing more than simple barricades? Memories rushed back, images of traps, pursuers, and strange inconsistencies, fueling Jakun's suspicion. Jakun whispered instructions to Phil, ordering her rats to thoroughly scout the abandoned fortress. Jakun declared firmly, demanding every corner of the fortress be examined, without overlooking any detail. Vicky, the bloody leopard, cursed loudly, furious that mere children caused her so much trouble. The guild demanded their capture quickly, as mysterious dealings with a dangerous girl approached tomorrow morning. With a twisted grin, Vicky realized the brats were nearby, her hunt entering its climax. She spotted silhouettes fleeing into the alley, her heavy footsteps echoing as she gave chase. Under moonlight, Vicky blocked their escape, towering menacingly, wondering if her prey was truly cornered. The children stood bravely before Vicky, determination in their eyes despite overwhelming strength opposing them. She demanded answers about the missing group. But the boy's calm defiance unsettled her growing suspicion. With a wicked grin, Vicky drew her blade, confident violence would force the truth out. She mocked his techniques, revealing a weapon would bypass them, laughing cruelly at his apparent weakness. Yet the boy raised his own sword, resolve unwavering, prepared to fight on equal terms. Vicky glared uneasily, sensing the boy's stance carried skill far beyond an ordinary amateur. Her frustration grew, screaming a vow to destroy his future completely, crushing every possibility he held. Unleashing deadly power, Vicky roared an attack, determined to obliterate the boy with overwhelming destructive force. Yet he countered fiercely, blade clashing against hers, forcing her backward with unrelenting strength and resolve. She tracked his sharp movements, astonished, realizing his strikes were impossibly fast, unpredictable, like ricocheting steel. The boy's technique impressed Vicky, his sword weight, erased with spiritual art's precise application. She realized his genius, acknowledging spiritual mastery, but still sneered, believing brute force outweighed childish tricks. Even so, he countered by restoring the sword's weight only during his precise slashes. Taunting continued, yet his strikes cut dangerously close, their duel's pace escalating with unpredictable ferocity. Steel clashed relentlessly, sparks scattering. As both fighters pressed forward, neither yielding ground nor determination. Vicky taunted his repeated stance, questioning his hesitation, while the boy remained calm and silent. She accused him of stalling, suspecting the other children escaped, but he simply admitted the possibility. Confidently, Vicky revealed her void hole, allowed her to track everyone's location regardless of distance. The boy smirked, declaring her technique was useless if the void hole itself no longer functioned. Shocked, Vicky hesitated as he challenged her to test it, realizing her hidden secret was exposed. Vicky shouted furiously into the alley, demanding the children reveal themselves, but silence answered instead. Her rage exploded as she screamed Benny's name, fear mixing with disbelief at the sudden realization. Echoing walls mocked her panic while Benny's voice revealed itself, shocking Vicky with unexpected betrayal. The boy calmly explained their observations, exposing her supposed teleportation as nothing but an illusion. He clarified both incidents never showed true instantaneous movement, dismantling her frightening reputation piece by piece. He reminded her of the storeroom incident, where brute strength replaced supposed teleportation's convenient escape. Calmly, he asked why she never used her void hole to bypass the barricade. Smiling, he declared the truth. She could never transport an entire human being instantly. He explained the void hole's size limited her, exposing the bluff she relied upon. Finally, he called it nothing but a trick, humiliating her feared reputation before everyone. The girl praised Ja-kun's insight. Realizing subtle details about Benny's supposed teleportation were overlooked, they revealed Benny's handedness changed after the transfer, proving deception, rather than true instantaneous movement existed. Vicky desperately argued explanations, but the boy declared only she and Benny shared that secret. He described feeling Benny's heartbeat incorrectly placed, exposing another undeniable inconsistency tied to their trickery. Finally, he confirmed everything with confidence, clapping his hands as truth crushed her collapsing facade. The boy revealed the truth of Cetus Inversus, explaining Benny's unusual reversed body structure. They recalled how his heart position shifted between events, revealing inconsistencies impossible for a single person. He pressed Vicky further, asking if she could truly alter her heart's position freely. The conclusion shocked everyone. Benny had been replaced, meaning another identical individual was secretly taking his place. Finally, the revelation came clear. Benny was never alone. He had a mirrored twin. Benny's twin revealed the truth, their mirrored bodies explaining the deception that fooled everyone completely. The switch worked by perfect timing, one twin hiding while the other acted as bait. Vicky raged in disbelief, realizing their illusion was only a copied trick from elsewhere. The boy concluded illusionary tricks were minor, insignificant compared to true spiritual art's overwhelming power. Finally, he exposed Benny and his twins' communication, secretly relaying information through spiritual arts. The twins' spiritual art, 3 arrows of transcendent wisdom, allowed them to share thoughts. The boy explained persuading one twin meant the other would inevitably follow, simplifying their strategy. Vicky, furious, launched another reckless attack, screaming as desperation clouded her mind and sharpened her blade elsewhere. Enemies dismissed missing informants, believing finding 10 children in the forest would be simple. The boy, however, remained resolute, eyes sharp with determination, declaring their survival depended on unity. Vicky trembles as Ja exposes the truth. Her feared void hole is only hidden passages. Children navigate the hidden passageways mapped earlier by Phil's rats, escaping Vicky's grasp undetected. Realization dawns on Vicky, her intimidation collapses, as the children's clever teamwork outsmarts her completely. The kids rally together, relieved yet determined, finally securing hope beyond captivity through Ja's strategy. Vicky, furious and humiliated, screams in frustration, unable to accept defeat at the hands of children. A young boy begins battling Bloody Leopard, cleverly using spiritual arts to manipulate his sword's weight. The bandit notices something strange, realizing the boy counters each strike with overwhelming precision and genius. Hidden truths unfold as the boy explains the enemy's abilities are exaggerated, relying on deception instead. Children's escape becomes possible after the boy uncovers the bandits' trick, exposing concealed twins and lies. Finally, he reveals the so-called teleportation was nothing but hidden passages, ensuring every child's survival. He recalled the villain's crimes, refusing sympathy, demanding answers for countless lives, cruelly destroyed. His anger grew, demanding justification for murdered innocents. Children's lives twisted into suffering beyond forgiveness. Resolve hardened, he swore such atrocities would never be tolerated, no matter the excuse given. Their blades clashed fiercely, sparks flying, conviction fueling his strikes against the corrupted, merciless foe. Finally, relief struck him. Everyone safely escaped. Stalling ended, he could now fight wholeheartedly. Enemy's eyes widened in shock, as the boy deduced hidden passage, exposing the deception behind teleportation. Pointing his sword, he declared the truth. Enemy simply exited through a concealed door, unnoticed. Children followed him inside storeroom, realizing each room appeared smaller than map's description suggested. He revealed hidden passageways existed throughout fortress, exposing enemy's advantage, a network of secret tunnels. His blade struck first, but the impact was instantly halted and sent flying back. Shocked by the counter, he watched her expression twist, forced to get serious against a child. Memories of disgrace resurfaced, pride bruised deeper than any wound, rage boiling over into clenched fists. He realized she deflected his sword using brass knuckles, raw strength over steel, then readied again. While she prepared to charge, he darted away, confident her speed couldn't match his technique. Before he could escape, something struck his side. Sharp pain exploded, his breath stolen away instantly. Bones cracked as he flew across the ground, helpless to stop the devastating follow-up attack. A girl witnessed his fall, rushing over in shock, her voice trembling with growing panic. Gasping on all fours, he tried standing, mind racing, to understand how he lost instantly. Unable to hold back frustration, he slammed his fists into the earth, anger erupting from deep within. Lying breathless on the ground, he stared upward, unsure if he would live or die. She approached calmly, towering above, demanding answers he could no longer give through shaking lips and fear. Accusations followed. Mockery, arrogance, and pride turned into weapons, sharper than blades ever could become. That shadowed form spoke of pride, unshaken, brutal, forged through scars time couldn't heal or forgive. Even genius meant nothing. 20 years of survival taught harsher truths than talent ever could grasp. Though his soul felt older, his body remained a 7-year-old, lacking true strength or control. He stood trembling, knowing the truth, just an ordinary man in a child prodigy's borrowed shell. With a grin, she beckoned him again, signaling the brutal start of their second round. A lesson returned to him: stay grounded, never forget weakness. Never let arrogance cloud judgment again. No longer making excuses, he chose to rise, sword ready, heart hardened, resolve forged through pain. He tightened his grip and shifted his stance, fully aware her eyes tracked every movement precisely. Analyzing her counters, he questioned everything. How could mere fists overwhelm speed, steel, and proper form? He examined the terrain and her stance carefully, determined not to overlook even the smallest cue. With a sudden leap, he unleashed his technique, blades flashing like wings, encircling her with speed. In response, she roared, charging forward with devastating force, brass knuckles aimed straight for his core. He activated transparent wings, launching forward, sword blazing, his final gamble to pierce through her guard. Without hesitation, he struck from behind, determined to land a blow before she could react. Their weapons clashed violently, his swing collided with her brass knuckles, force meeting force in raw defiance. Mocking his strength, she blocked again and laughed, taunting him to return after real training. Confused by the overwhelming hit, he learned her fist link space Zetsushi, no Kokutsu's power. Despite having stamina left, he knew his pace was slipping, and she could sense it clearly. Her patience unnerved him. She waited silently, pressing just enough to drain him to the edge. Even while labeled a thief, her skills resembled a seasoned master, her reflexes simply beyond normal. Shock followed as pieces of his sword scattered her counters, finally started chipping away his last weapon. Lifting the sword, he saw it ruined edge cracked from hilt to tip without warning. He couldn't believe her fist damaged the blade. Something wasn't normal about this woman's strength. Realization hit her too, his technique had unexpected uses. Her expression changed, eyes widening with wicked excitement. Even if correct, he couldn't overpower her. Dodging seemed impossible. Charging blindly would guarantee defeat. Mid-dash, he caught something unfamiliar in the air. A glimmer, a shift. His eyes narrowed. Vicky grinned fiercely, her calm never faded. That twisted smile masked lethal focus behind its brutal curve. Keeping her guard high, she stayed cautious, knowing one slip could cost the entire fight. Suddenly, he launched into the air, surprising her with his height and rapid approach overhead. She mocked him mid-charge, assuming retreat, but fury burned in his eyes, refusing to yield again. He roared his vow mid-air, blade ready, no retreat, no fear, just raw determination exploding forward. Her eyes widened as he curved mid-air, altering direction with precision she never saw coming. He roared mid-air with all his strength, charging head on, blade aimed straight at her core. Their wills collided, his slash versus her fist. She shouted confidently, believing brute power would prevail again. His blade struck center mass. Her grin faltered as impact jolted her from within unexpectedly. Shock overwhelmed them both. She staggered from backlash, while he barely withstood the force he'd unleashed. She finally realized his body weight shift multiplied force beyond prediction. He might have understood her hidden technique completely. Smiling confidently, he revealed the truth hidden behind every movement. Once the dots connected properly, the enemy realized something was off. His fist had been growing stronger during the entire fight. He declared his move, preparing Zetsuseki no Koketsu, a technique designed only to create an exit. Understanding dawn too late, multiplying the exit allowed countless fists to split and strike relentlessly. Using the trick, he overwhelmed speed, landing dozens of punches before the splits vanished completely. Every fold amplified his damage, but so did the backlash, depending on the attack's force. Light attacks caused zero recoil, but heavier strikes pushed back hard, risking serious injury with each fold. He clenched his blade, daring to test whose weapon or will would shatter under pressure first. A sudden leap cracked the ground, his body soaring straight toward the stunned enemy below. Midair, he twisted again, sword raised high, launching himself down as if defying gravity itself. Eyes locked, he descended like a missile, forcing his opponent to brace with a crazed grin. Steel clashed against raw strength, sparks flying as momentum collided in a high-speed flurry of blows. Fists struck wildly, but couldn't stop the impact. Raining down, his defense crumbled under the assault. Confusion overtook him. Was it magic, spirit technique, or something else entirely granting such impossible movement? Realization hit, he never kicked the sky. The boy had created something entirely different beneath him. A swirling mass of crows darkened the sky, revealing the unexpected source of his launch. He wasn't flying, he used the summoned crows as footholds, borrowing the girl's hidden technique mid-battle. Before anyone reacted, Phil was struck and collapsed, shocking him into a furious protective scream of rage. Without hesitation, he plunged downward, sword first, enraged by the attack that hurt his closest friend. A wicked smile formed on her face, amused by his fury rather than intimidated at all. An explosive strike blasted him midair, the pain unbearable as he screamed, completely caught off guard. He realized too late his emotions distracted him, and he failed to react against her counterattack. Thou victorious. She breathed heavily, bruised and battered, surprised by how much effort defeating him had required. Despite winning, she offered recruitment, acknowledging his power and even praising the damage he inflicted. Paralyzed on the ground, he rejected her mockery, refusing to plead. Though helpless against her gloating, she approached holding fire, speaking of a technique that nullifies attacks, yet questioned its limits cruelly. Eyes gleamed with menace, as she planned to burn his arms, disabling spirit techniques permanently. Panic thoughts raced. He needed something powerful, offensive enough to counter Vicky directly and end this. Her words revealed a hidden agenda. He wasn't the target, merely cargo to deliver before dawn. Her foot touched him, but the technique couldn't affect her fully. Her boot blocked the spirit effect. Tension peaked as both stared wide-eyed, counting down to a mysterious and sudden shift overhead. A girl shouted urgently, drawing everyone's attention toward the sky. Something massive was beginning to descend. He looked up. Confused crows had vanished without warning, leaving only silent darkness above their heads. Suddenly, enormous eagles appeared, each gripping ropes tightly in their talons, spreading in formation, not crows, but eagles united in flight, lifting something heavy with precision. Ropes stretching from every direction. From above, a divine sword plunged into the earth, unleashing a blinding explosion of force. Both fighters were thrown helplessly, tumbling across the battlefield as shock waves overwhelmed their weakened bodies instantly. Smoke thickened across the field, obscuring everything. He stumbled forward, confused and desperate to understand what happened. Emerging from the dust stood a single gleaming sword, embedded deep within the cracked ground. A mysterious sword floated in the air, radiating an overwhelming presence no one could ignore. Its blade shimmered with morning glow, neither scarlet nor gold, drawing gasps from all around. No known metal matched its form, not iron, silver, jade, nor anything the boy recognized. Recognition dawned. Hurricane. The rarest, heaviest metal, more precious than gold, gleamed unmistakably in her grip. Laughing madly, she claimed the sword, dreaming of decades filled with luxury and unmatched fortune. Though it looked ordinary, the sword struck the earth like a meteor, shaking the ground. Only one existed in this world, lightened by spirit arts, flown in by mighty eagles. From afar, the elf calmly watched and spoke, offering the gift that would change everything. Understanding dawned in his eyes as he realized the sword's true origin and purpose. They stood before the crater together, the weapon embedded deep, radiating power no one expected. Mocking laughter erupted as she questioned his sanity for trying to lift the monstrous blade. Without hesitation, he reached forward, wrapped his hand around the hilt, and began applying pressure. Her grin faded the moment the impossible happened. The sword visibly shifted above the shattered earth. He raised it overhead with steady arms, eyes blazing with determination and silent, rising resolve. Speechless, she stared in disbelief as he turned calmly, sword in hand, ready to fight. Power surged around him as the ground cracked. He silently prepared to unleash forbidden strength. From behind, a colossal phoenix emerged, its presence overwhelming, amplifying the boy's threatening aura with divine force. Terror overtook the enemy's face, sweat pouring as realization struck deeper than any blade could reach. Recognizing the beast as Andrialphus, they panicked. How could a child summon something so impossibly ancient? Amid darkness, his voice echoed coldly. Actions have consequences, and karma always circles back. Always, fist clenched with fury, he cursed the thief, declaring fate would punish wickedness without mercy. His opponent stayed silent, trembling, overwhelmed by the boy's overwhelming pressure and impossible magical strength. Screaming with rage, the brute charged, recklessly, unable to accept humiliation from a younger, smaller adversary. Despite shaking limbs, the boy braced himself. One strike, one chance, and everything would be over. Timing everything perfectly, he launched upward, blade flashing as the attack collided with staggering force. Surrounded by countless fists, the boy stood unfazed, calmly preparing for the counter-strike he'd mastered. Power channeled through his blade, he unleashed right-wing form, Chubakaram, ripping through incoming attacks with precision. Everyone watched in disbelief as he was launched backward. Blood flying, his body couldn't handle the recoil. The enemy roared, lunging to finish him off, believing victory was already his for the taking. But just before impact, the boy whispered his final spell, eyes locked, heart steady release activated. Widened eyes fixated on the charging boy. What once seemed prey now became a real threat. A clean upward slash caught the enemy's defenses off guard, slicing through hair, muscle, and pride alike. Right and left wings represented movement and speed, but alone, they couldn't finish the predator's hunt completely. To devour his target whole, he needed a final edge, something faster, sharper, more absolute. That edge returned, the phoenix's beak reborn as a blade, pierced all, swallowing even flame and fury. Unleashing his ultimate technique, he entered severing beak form. Eyes locked on the opponent's exposed back, with one clean arc, Fire Eater struck through flesh and weapon, cutting deeper than anyone could imagine. Wounded and confused, the enemy stumbled, unsure what happened, realizing too late the boy wasn't smiling anymore. Blood gushed violently as the warrior collapsed, shock and disbelief carved into his final, fading expression. Exhausted but alive, the boy stood still, his enemy fallen, the ground painted with silence. Exhausted and trembling, he dropped to the ground, clutching his hands, feeling intense burning pain. A girl rushed forward, worried, but he assured her he was unharmed, though bruised. He gently corrected her, reminding her growth was ongoing, patience still required for mastery. Suddenly, a calm figure appeared, descending gracefully, her presence radiating both authority and serenity. Recognition dawned on the boy and girl. They had encountered their master, returning with quiet, powerful energy. The master critiqued the boy's technique, noting sloppy sword handling and careless weight management mistakes. A sudden, playful strike on both their heads caused the children to flinch, surprised by discipline, shouting with intensity. The master expressed genuine worry for their safety, concern overriding anger entirely. Footsteps approached as she moved closer, calm but purposeful, her presence commanding attention from both students. Embracing the boy and girl together, she conveyed relief and affection, protective of their well-being. The master expressed relief and happiness, confirming she was truly glad the students had survived. He bowed deeply, apologizing for his recklessness, acknowledging the worry he had caused her. Hugging tightly, the boy and girl showed heartfelt remorse and sincere reflection for their actions. They presented a small gift to the master, a token of gratitude for guidance. The children explained the gift's thoughtfulness, emphasizing how her hair's beauty inspired their choice thoughtfully. The children admired the butterfly gift, smiling as their master's expression softened with warmth and joy. She returned the gesture with a gentle, tearful smile, clearly touched by their thoughtfulness and care. Suddenly, the atmosphere darkened. Ominous thoughts surfaced as a voice declared, targeting a bad insect to eliminate. The group silhouettes were framed against shadowy walls, tension building as the air grew heavy. A hooded figure with a bow prepared to strike, aiming silently at the unseen threat ahead. His eyes widened in shock, noticing an unknown presence atop the distant castle wall. Bracing, the hooded figure drew their bow, aiming with lethal precision toward the unsuspecting group below. The master and children noticed immediately, faces filled with surprise and alarm at the imminent danger. A swift motion indicated the arrow was released, sending a shadowed threat hurtling toward its target. The boy stepped forward, fists clenched, ready to defend the master and his friends fiercely. A sudden impact exploded in the distance, the sound shaking the ground beneath the frightened group. The boy stretched out his hands, bracing to protect the master and the small girl. Eyes widened as bright energy flared unexpectedly, forcing everyone to react in shock and alarm. The resulting blast shattered the environment around them, trees and debris flying from the immense force. The children shouted, calling out for Jack, running toward the source in panic and fear. The boy held up the arrow, commenting on its speed, testing reflexes and reaction time precisely. The master noted his slight delay, explaining the ideal speed, and criticizing his strict self-judgment. The children realized the shooter was an enemy, a member of Anicap's faction. A hooded figure opened their mouth wide, arrow ready to strike, threatening the group directly. The arrow struck violently, splattering blood, leaving the children and master shocked, horrified by the sudden attack. The boy's eyes widened in shock, noticing something unexpected just beyond the castle walls. A hooded figure fell suddenly, landing with a heavy thud, leaving the group stunned. He could not comprehend what had just occurred, fear and confusion clouding his thoughts immediately. The ground was splattered with dark, ominous stains, signaling something violent had just happened nearby. A lone silhouette disappeared into the tunnel, leaving the boy and children frozen in disbelief and dread. The warrior cursed his fate, frustrated that he had to flee despite his strength and pride. Heavy breathing indicated exhaustion and anger, rage building as he struggled to process recent events mentally. Memories of betrayal and loss filled his mind, fueling a violent determination for revenge immediately. He reflected on what had been stolen, realizing current gains were insufficient for reclaiming his honor. Gazing at a twisted, unnatural tree, he could not comprehend its presence, fear and confusion rising. The warrior froze, staring in disbelief as the twisted tree seemed to move and grow unnaturally. He looked up the massive, winding structure, completely overwhelmed by its size and alien appearance. Fear and exhaustion combined as he ran frantically, trying to escape the unnerving environment quickly. The master and children were dragged along, struggling to keep up, their bodies battered and bruised. Suddenly, familiar figures appeared. Vinny's allies arrived just in time, providing reinforcements and much-needed relief. The warrior addressed his allies, cautioning them not to look into his haunted, wild eyes. Enemies reached forward aggressively, prompting a desperate reaction, the boy shouting in shock and fear immediately. Inside his mind, a torrent of regret and pleas overwhelmed him, begging for another chance. He questioned reality, hoping it was only a bad dream, trying to convince himself. The group stood before a new city at dawn, cautiously surveying the surroundings for threats. The group discovered that everyone in the Crimson Cat faction had apparently committed suicide, horrifically. The boy struggled to understand why this tragedy had happened, his mind filled with confusion. He asked a nearby ally for answers, but the man admitted there was no way to know. Authorities imposed a gag order to prevent discussion, insisting secrecy due to the suspicious circumstances. The boy silently accepted the decree, though doubt and grief weighed heavily on his heart. The Crimson Cat has been completely annihilated. Though gag orders prevent spreading the full truth publicly, rumors quickly reached the Royal Academy, revealing a 7-year-old boy and girl responsible for the destruction. 1 year passed since the Crimson Cat's fall, and peace returned to the flourishing kingdom. A carriage stopped at the city gates, where Phil and Jack eagerly admired the bustling streets. They arrived at Reina, Daya, the capital, ready to enroll in the Royal Academy together. Because of their rumored victory against Crimson Cat, the prestigious academy welcomed them with admiration. Phil joined intelligence, Jack chose combat, both determined to grow stronger through the academy's guidance. Raquel was invited to teach, though she felt unworthy guiding noble children with wandering experience. Jack reminded her of spiritual arts, suggesting the academy as a perfect place for research. Phil and Jack pleaded warmly, insisting she remain alongside them during their academy life together. Raquel accepted the position, under condition she'd teach only, while her disciples remained enrolled. Thus began their new spring, with teacher and students embracing an unexpected life together. Phil excitedly pointed ahead, while Raquel and Jack followed her gaze toward the magnificent academy. Before them stood the Royal Academy of Spiritual Arts, gateway to success for talented users. Jack's father confirmed the towering building was the assembly hall for the entrance examination ahead. The impressive combat arena awaited challengers, symbolizing both prestige and trials within the academy's rigorous walls. Inside, crowds of students gathered, eager for exams that would determine status, honor, and academic standing. Raquel explained most students entered with recommendation letters, making their direct scouting truly exceptional. Phil celebrated their uniqueness. Jack smiled proudly, while Raquel reminded them not to become arrogant. Their guardians departed, instructing them to change, while Raquel warned about navigating the enormous academy grounds. Jack confidently declared he wouldn't get lost, yet moments later, both children wandered aimlessly through corridors. Phil glared unimpressed, leaving Jack embarrassed as he tried excusing their immediate failure in directions. Jack grew frustrated with the confusing layout, while Phil suggested using spirit arts for shortcut travel. Carrying Phil in his arms, Jack prepared himself, ensuring she held tightly before attempting the leap. With determination, Jack invoked spiritual power, launching them together across the academy's wide courtyard. They landed safely inside another hall, though unexpected voices nearby quickly caught their attention. Startled, Jack accidentally burst into a private room, encountering a surprised girl in revealing attire. The girl shrieked in embarrassment, desperately covering herself while Jack awkwardly froze in silence. Jack compared her body to Raquel's, dismissing the allure, yet was quickly blasted outside. Phil scolded Jack, realizing this wasn't the time for distractions, as chaos unfolded further. The girl leaned from the window, watching them float away while still flustered. Blushing furiously, she shouted about her underwear, leaving Jack dumbfounded and unable to respond properly. The girl scolded Jack for entering improperly, though admitted partial fault for leaving her window open. Ultimately, she forgave them, acknowledging her oversight, choosing to let the awkward incident pass peacefully. She formally introduced herself as Azalea Austin, proud second daughter of the distinguished Austin Duke family. Jack responded politely, confirming he was also a new academy student, introducing himself as Jack Lieber. Phil cheerfully introduced herself as Feline Hosford, boldly declaring she was also Jack's wife, surprising everyone. Azalea asked if they were engaged, prompting Phil to shout she was already Jack's wife. Suspicious of Azalea, Phil claimed Jack belonged only to her, declaring they'd already shared many experiences. Azalea blushed furiously, struggling to believe Phil's bold claims, wondering if such things were even possible. Phil escalated her exaggeration, insisting they kissed from time to time, shocking everyone present completely. Embarrassed, Jack silenced Phil with his hand, leaving both girls stunned by the sudden gesture. Azalea erupted with embarrassment, accusing Jack of indecency for forcefully silencing Phil in front. Her temper flared further, shouting accusations that Jack frequently kissed Phil's mouth as undeniable proof. Eventually calming, Azalea apologized for losing control, though still criticized their behavior as immature and shameless. Jack explained their master was Raquel, a wandering teacher, which left Azalea doubtful and suspicious. Azalea accused them of entering through borrowed authority, warning such reliance without skill would bring regret. Jack defended their worth, while Azalea warned the academy gathered powerful spirit users nationwide. She revealed this year's enrollment would include someone unmatched, a prodigy destined to overshadow many. The student was introduced as the third prince of the prestigious Windsor royal family. As a spirit art user, he had already accomplished numerous achievements at a young age. People across the kingdom called him the genius prince. Feared and admired for overwhelming talent. They hurried inside, apologizing for their delay, while their elf companion questioned the reason for lateness. The announcement declared the combat department's competency exam, leaving everyone tense as they prepared for difficult challenges ahead. Inside the vast hall, 4 battle stages awaited, where new students would face experienced upperclassmen as opponents. An explanation revealed a protective barrier named Bloodless Battle, nullifying lethal injuries during every duel conducted here. However, limits existed. Spiritual power protected fighters, but once depleted, damage would pierce through, causing genuine danger. Rules explain that exhausting spiritual power forces fighters into element out, ending matches with immobility. The announcer excitedly declared the start, assuring everyone they could fight freely without fear of lethal injuries. On the fourth stage appeared Azalea Austin, a skilled student from Flame God Amaterasu School. Recognition struck immediately. Jack's companion pointed nervously, realizing Azalea was the same person they encountered earlier. The group discussed exam grading, remembering Crimson Cat's Vicky, questioning how formidable Grade 3 fighters truly were. Rumors spread about Azalea, a Grade 4 spirit art user, relying on unique techniques, her weakness covered by Koketsu's art, yet comparisons arose to the strong leader she previously fought. Observers noted Austin family prestige, acknowledging her strength, surpassing the leader. Despite her official grade standing, attention shifted toward the Windsor family's genius prince, considered the only candidate for Grade 2. As tension mounted, the exam overseer prepared to continue, announcing the next match without delay. Azalea Austin curtsied confidently, her relaxed demeanor concealing sharp focus as the audience watched intently. Her opponent stiffened, surprised by her poise, realizing this fight would not be as simple expected. The duel began. Azalea smirked, declaring her long experience while summoning powerful swirling energy in her hand. Her rival launched a fierce technique, threatening to tear her attire apart, with overwhelming destructive force. Unfazed, Azalea countered instantly, unleashing blazing spirit power, forming a radiant wall against the incoming attack. Her opponent panicked, shocked as Azalea shattered expectations, proving fire was not weaker than water. With fierce confidence, she mocked him mercilessly, urging him to grow beyond childish weakness and fear. Explosive flames rained down, overwhelming the student completely, forcing him to collapse under Azalea's unrelenting assault. As silence followed, the result was declared. Victory belonged to Azalea Austin, stunning the entire audience. She raised her hand proudly, celebrated as a symbol of strength, inspiring awe among gathered spectators. Azalea explained this academy's nature, where both talent and relentless effort were considered common. Defeated opponents were carried away, a reminder that half-hearted dedication would never earn recognition here. Attention turned to the third stage, where a new contender, Ruby Bergson, was introduced confidently. Ruby revealed her Grade 3 status, standing proudly as a student of Master Hosea Bergson. Spectators murmured disdainfully, calling her ragpicker, questioning her worthiness despite receiving the Academy's official permission. Bergson's school welcomed vagrants, training them into elites, angering nobles who valued lineage over merit. Ruby's stance declared defiance. Unashamed of her slum origins, radiating determination against prejudice surrounding her. Her strong aura suggested a troublesome personality, yet also undeniable resolve, that impressed silent observers. The match began, both fighters narrowing their eyes, prepared to unleash everything in fierce battle. First movements erupted. Opponent advanced aggressively, striking with force, while Ruby quickly braced herself for counterattack. Ruby's opponent unleashed a powerful wind spirit art, blasting forward with overwhelming force toward her. Spectators gasped, recognizing the technique as Tengaku no wa Shin, cast without visible activation movements. The sudden gale overwhelmed Ruby, forcing her back as she struggled to withstand the violent impact. Her opponent pressed the advantage, mocking her misstep, believing she crippled herself by blocking her vision. But then, confusion struck. His technique faltered unexpectedly, leaving him momentarily vulnerable in the heated duel. Suddenly, Ruby vanished from sight, leaving her opponent shocked, unable to track her movements. Spectators gasped loudly, realizing she disappeared, leaving nothing but confusion and disbelief in the arena. With swift precision, Ruby reappeared, striking directly, sending her opponent sprawling helplessly across the floor. She smirked dangerously, revealing she had only been toying with him the entire time. Her overwhelming attack concluded the match, leaving her opponent defeated as the crowd erupted in awe. The match concluded decisively, the announcer declaring Ruby Bergson victorious to roaring cheers from spectators. Whispers spread quickly her opponent's attacks were illusions, cleverly redirected through Ruby's mysterious deceptive spirit art. Ruby stretched casually, yawning, unconcerned by the victory, leaving others shocked at her nonchalant attitude. Attention shifted again, as another battle began, drawing Jakun's notice toward the first examination stage. There, a towering warrior appeared, a massive student of Denholm Basted, radiating strength and intimidation. Gawain McDonnell, Denholm Basted's towering student, entered the arena clad in heavy shining armor. Spectators whispered in awe, doubting if someone so huge could truly be only 9. The crowd cheered loudly, recognizing another Grade 3 examinee among this year's already extraordinary entrants. Facing him, a sharp-eyed youth prepared calmly, showing determination, despite Gawain's intimidating overwhelming presence. With tremendous force, Gawain swung his massive sword, sending shockwaves that shattered the ground beneath. Stone and steel clashed violently, sparks flying as everyone watched the shocking turn of battle. A spirit art controlled the ground itself, earthen fingers catching Gawain McDonnell in crushing grip. Spinning stone grains whirled furiously, shredding forward like a chainsaw aimed directly at Gawain's armor. Spectators noticed something strange despite continuous assault. Gawain stood calm, his expression unwavering, unshaken, utterly composed. Even after relentless attacks, his armor gleamed intact, completely unscathed by the vicious stone technique. Observers realized Gawain's armor mysteriously repaired itself, restoring to pristine condition after every strike. His opponent cursed, realizing sheer spirit art alone could not explain Gawain's unnatural defensive endurance. Analysts speculated another hidden factor strengthened him, since armor alone couldn't nullify such devastating damage. With determination burning, his opponent charged fiercely, vowing to expose Gawain's mysterious defensive trick. Steel clashed violently as Gawain countered, unleashing crushing force that sent shockwaves across the arena. Jack's turn finally approached, and the audience's attention shifted toward him with growing anticipation. Encouraged by his friends, Jack prepared himself, determination radiating as he stepped closer to the arena stage. Walking forward, he was suddenly called by his companion, who reminded him of how far he'd grown. She told him to reveal his strength, showing the world how powerful Jack Lieber had become. With a confident smile, Jack steadied his heart, ready to prove himself before everyone watching intently. He raised his voice confidently, declaring his readiness to face whatever challenge awaited him. Spectators gathered around the arena, while an announcer called for the next participant to step forward. Hearing the participant's name, the girl immediately recognized it, remembering someone important connected to that identity. Curiosity grew within her, as she wondered about his master and decided to witness his battle. Officials checked the results, leaving the examiner shocked, while the girl anxiously awaited news of his performance. The announcer nervously corrected herself, calling Jack Lieber once more, preparing to reveal his shocking result. Gasps filled the hall when the examiner announced his unbelievable exam grade, far beyond expected limits. Crowds reacted in disbelief, some stunned, while others smirked, realizing an extraordinary power had emerged unexpectedly. Whispers spread quickly, students chuckled among themselves, uncertain whether to mock or fear his potential strength. Uneasy laughter echoed, growing distorted, as a sinister presence stirred among the gathered spectators in shadows. Whispers spread about the Lieber family, surprising everyone that countryside bloodline challenged such prestigious exam. Nobles grumbled with jealousy. Frustrated, their prestige was shaken, while rivals secretly trembled at his potential rise. Jack entered confidently, determination blazing in his eyes, prepared to prove strength before countless expectant spectators. 2 contenders stood on the examination stage, attracting everyone's attention with their unusual grade-level match. The duel began instantly, both fighters drawing weapons and preparing to unleash their skills before the crowd. Spectators gasped when the black-haired boy revealed an unknown ability, forcing his opponent into confusion. His shocked expression showed disbelief, realizing the overwhelming power displayed was far beyond ordinary expectations. Teleportation ability astonished everyone, marking him as nearly grade 1, his opponent struggling against unstoppable precision. The blonde swordsman charged fiercely, his blade aiming directly toward the black-haired boy's calm stance. Every strike failed to land, the boy's swift movements leaving his opponent increasingly frustrated and shocked. A sudden slash appeared close, yet the black-haired fighter evaded effortlessly, showing impossible reflexes and precision. Illusions of multiple bodies overwhelmed the blonde opponent, forcing him to stumble under relentless, untouchable speed. Acknowledging defeat, the blonde admitted superiority, conceding victory earned solely through flawless dodges and unmatched composure. With one decisive strike, Jack immobilized his opponent, leaving the audience speechless at his overwhelming dominance. The referee announced the result loudly, declaring Jack Lieber the undeniable victor before the roaring, astonished crowd. Confusion spread among onlookers, struggling to understand how victory was achieved with movements too fast to follow. Observers speculated his technique was advanced spirit arts, disappearing differently from ordinary practitioners, defying conventional explanation. A woman evaluated him carefully, admitting Jack's strength far surpassed expectations. Recognizing potential beyond lower-grade examinations, the girl confidently declared Jack suitable as her rival, impressed by his display of overwhelming strength. She explained that true power, like fire, required proper foundation, hinting at deeper training ahead. Later, Jack reflected alone, admitting his narrow victory relied on unfamiliar spirit art and surprise. As results were announced, anticipation built for the next challenger, Elvis Kunz Windsor. Awaiting his turn, Jack's heart pounded when confirmation arrived. His performance earned him the extraordinary recognition of Grade 2. He stood shocked in the arena, whispers spreading quickly among the gathered academy students. From the crowd, a girl explained his presence, revealing he finally enrolled this prestigious academy. A lone figure appeared, silver-haired and composed, drawing every student's gaze with overwhelming presence. The announcer introduced Elvis Kunz Windsor, Genius Prince, recognized as history's most exceptionally talented prodigy. Both young men faced each other, tension rising, as the announcer nervously prepared their introductions. The referee signaled the start, both competitors facing each other with determination and unwavering confidence. Suddenly, a magnificent spirit manifested behind Elvis, its divine wings stunning everyone watching the arena. Recognition dawned on him instantly, realizing he finally encountered a true spirit avatar in person. Elvis smiled confidently, proudly introducing himself as a fellow spirit perch, impressing the entire audience. Confused, he heard the spirit speaking aloud, something thought impossible, shaking his understanding of reality. The spirit raised her arm, declaring boldly that the duel would be settled immediately. With devastating force, the arena floor shattered, sending his opponent crashing helplessly into the ground. Struggling to rise, he gasped in pain while Elvis smiled confidently before the silent crowd. The announcer declared Elvis Kunz Windsor victorious, ending the intense battle with overwhelming clarity. The spirit cheered loudly, announcing her task finished, before disappearing as Elvis acknowledged the victory. He realized Elvis commanded Paimon of Mayhem, a 9th-tier elemental spirit of unknown nature. Reflecting, he admitted concealing his true strength, while the prince displayed overwhelming power without hesitation. Elvis's confident stance declared openly that he would never conceal strength nor run from challenges. Excitement filled the room when a cheerful girl rushed in, waving their academy acceptance letter. Together they compared placements, learning she joined intelligence class, while he was assigned prestigious combat S class. Everyone reacted in surprise when they learned he had been placed directly into S class. Classmates explained S class existed rarely, reserved only for the most talented, celebrating his remarkable achievement together. Later, a girl clung to him dramatically, accusing him of intrusion and causing commotion. Another girl revealed intentions of eliminating the school, proposing they accomplish it together with him. Comforting a younger child, she promised they could attend school safely alongside her brother. She worried about being gloomy, fearing classmates might find her boring. Unsure how to act, he encouraged her gently, reminding forgiveness and self-acceptance were the first steps toward confidence. Though difficult initially, he assured her that with practice she could eventually accomplish anything. Her eyes brightened with determination, thanking her brother and promising to try wholeheartedly soon after. The academy awaited them, a new chapter beginning as voices eagerly called Jakun. She enthusiastically clung to him, praising his new uniform, while he protested in embarrassment. He reminded her about proper timing, parting ways afterward, as both prepared for class. Arriving at his classroom, he opened the door and found several students already waiting. Observing them carefully, he realized these powerful individuals would be his fellow Combat S-class classmates. He entered the new classroom, meeting familiar faces, and quickly realizing tensions already ran high. Accusations arose, when classmates misunderstood his friendship, wrongly suspecting inappropriate closeness and spreading troublesome rumors everywhere. Another student teased him openly, loudly exaggerating about him sharing a room with a female companion. Suspicion intensified further when whispers linked him with defeating the notorious Crimson Cat during examination trials. Eventually, introductions cleared tension, as he met Ruby Bergson and introduced himself as Jack Lieber. Ruby teased about names, offering playful discounts, while Jack laughed off the idea without concern. Their banter grew livelier, Ruby boasting about appearance, while others reacted with surprise and disapproval nearby. Misunderstandings escalated further when Ruby's carefree jokes sounded like shameless flirting, angering their serious classmate. The angry girl then scolded Ruby's sloppy uniform, demanding proper attire, while Ruby defended comfort. Frustrations boiled over, classmates urging calm, though Ruby's carefree attitude only provoked stronger irritation from her. A stern student entered, his serious presence immediately drawing attention from everyone in the classroom. Ruby challenged his authority, questioning arrogance, while others recognized the newcomer's strict demeanor as potentially dangerous. The noble revealed himself as Gawain MacDonald, descendant of knights, possessing both heritage and magical prowess. Insults escalated further, Ruby mocking him carelessly, while Gawain defended knightly pride with stern conviction. Tensions nearly erupted, until Azalea intervened nervously, urging both sides to stop before chaos spread. A cheerful greeting broke the tension, silencing the room as everyone turned to the newcomer. The blonde boy entered confidently, instantly recognized as part of the elite S-class students. His name was Elvis Cluns Windsor, praised as the most outstanding of all incoming students. Gawain quickly showed respect, kneeling formally and declaring honor at meeting such a distinguished figure. Elvis, embarrassed by the gesture, begged him to rise, insisting formalities were unnecessary among classmates. Elvis admitted confusion, uncomfortable with being treated like royalty, rather than just another classmate. He requested equality, wishing everyone would stop labeling him as the so-called genius prince. Ruby eagerly teased him, asking for bread, while others reacted in shock at the antics. Their playful chaos was suddenly interrupted when the teacher stormed in, demanding immediate order. Everyone froze in silence, quickly realizing class had officially begun under the strict instructor's gaze. The students were shocked when the teacher's true identity was revealed in casual conversation. Elvis explained, clearly their instructor was Tula Cleese, known as the Eternal Spirit King. Tula, strongest spirit sorcerer for decades, also held authority as the headmaster of the academy. Ruby mocked her youthful appearance, doubting her age, which caused Tula to burst into laughter. Angrily, Tula declared she was 400 years older, demanding proper respect from everyone present. Tula revealed her half-dwarf heritage, explaining why her body stopped growing and remained small. Students reacted with shock and awe upon learning Tula herself would be their homeroom teacher. Tula admitted her busy duties, appointing an assistant vice homeroom teacher to help manage students. A beautiful elf woman entered gracefully, immediately capturing attention as she introduced herself to everyone. She was Raquel, the assistant homeroom teacher, whose presence surprised Jack due to a familiar name. Raquel revealed her connection to Jack, though he asked her not to mention disciple status. Tula shifted the topic, announcing the academy's most important system beyond ordinary classes and lectures. She explained ranks, students competing through league matches from 6th grade to 1st for advancement. Victories above 70% led to promotions, while repeated failures caused demotions in rank. Graduation required achieving 1st rank, proving worthiness to join the Spirit Mage Guild officially. Tula warned students harshly, failure to reach 1st rank by 18 meant immediate expulsion. Ruby raised concerns, calculating the years needed for advancement, and questioned graduation rates skeptically. The answer shocked everyone. Only about 10% of students managed to graduate successfully. Tula clarified that percentage only included those who survived and reached actual graduation requirements. Even fewer pursued careers as spirit mages, though successful rank battles earned noble recognition afterward. Tula explained most graduates avoided competitions, believing rising ranks beyond the 1st was futile. Those failing to progress lost their path as spirit mages, forced to abandon their ambitions. Jack reflected on the harsh truth, accepting it as the undeniable reality of this academy. Spirit mages of first rank faced disrespect from ordinary citizens, treated like insignificant laborers. Despite the grim explanation, silence filled the room, fueled not by fear but determination. Tula explained most graduates avoided competitions, believing rising ranks beyond the first was futile. Those failing to progress lost their path as spirit mages, forced to abandon their ambitions. Jack reflected on the harsh truth, accepting it as the undeniable reality of this academy. Spirit mages of first rank faced disrespect from ordinary citizens, treated like insignificant laborers. Despite the grim explanation, silence filled the room, fueled not by fear but determination. Azalea noticed the unfamiliar old man, while others whispered, curious about his connection with Director. The blonde boy explained calmly, revealing the surprising truth that Clive Cruz was the director's husband. Everyone stood stunned, expressions frozen in disbelief, struggling to process the unexpected relationship revealed so suddenly. Shock echoed across the academy grounds, voices overlapping with disbelief, marking the chapter's dramatic conclusion. Juicy meat sizzled on the grill during the lively gathering, surprising everyone with its sudden chaos. Flames burst uncontrollably, scorching the feast as panicked friends shouted, struggling to stop her overwhelming magical fire. Despite the commotion, students cheerfully devoured charred food, praising its taste, while nobles disapproved of such behavior. Attention shifted when Callum Reaver's son appeared, drawing curious gazes and immediate recognition from seated guests. His lineage revealed, companions discussed his father's persistence, mother's heritage, and admired the unexpected strength within him. Confusion arose when questions about their marriage surfaced, sparking playful accusations of stalking and misunderstanding. He recalled student days, misidentifying her as classmate, presenting flowers, struck by her unexpected beauty. Ivrion listened intently, impressed by sincerity, while she blushed, remembering those awkward yet heartfelt moments together. Persistence was clear. Every day, he sacrificed possessions, even clothes, to keep sending her bouquets. Finally, his feelings reached her heart, their bond formed, leaving companions, amazed by such relentless devotion. Laughter filled the gathering as she admitted her careless mistake, warning others against repeating similar errors. He exchanged nervous glances with the elf, hearts briefly unsettled, though neither dared speak their thoughts. Teasing continued, comparisons drawn to unlikely romances, causing embarrassed chuckles and light-hearted banter among the group. Eventually, he slipped away, relieved to escape the rowdy atmosphere dominated by overly enthusiastic drinkers. Suddenly, a cheerful girl leapt into his arms, surprising him completely with her energetic embrace. He panicked after messing up, while others pointed toward the intelligence department's completed gathering nearby. A cheerful girl introduced herself energetically as Feline Hosford, proudly belonging to the prestigious intelligence department. Phil laughed confidently, praising their accomplishments, while recognizing another member credited with defeating the Crimson Hat. To prove her brilliance, she listed everyone's names, though her playful remarks quickly caused irritation. Frustration erupted when one complained about being insulted, leading the group into another round of bickering. Teasing continued as one claimed nobility, but others laughed, exposing her desperate attempts to appear noble. Afterward, Elvis approached Jack, expressing surprise at his unexpected strength, revealed during the recent examination. He admitted admiration, acknowledging Jack's victory, while Jack remained unsure whether it was praise or mockery. Elvis then asked sincerely if Jack truly considered himself strong, his eyes filled with genuine curiosity. Jack received affirmation, told his strength lay in courage, rushing to protect friends, risking everything without hesitation. He reflected on envy inside, realizing Elvis's strength and the bright future awaiting him. Elvis smiled, assuring Jack with confidence that he was undoubtedly strong, easing Jack's lingering self-doubt. Still confused, Jack listened as Elvis spoke of duties, regularly questioning his own responsibilities. Under the starry sky, Jack asked earnestly whether he truly appeared strong to Elvis. Memories resurfaced of past weakness. Yet Elvis declared him the strongest genius prince, inspiring newfound resolve. Elvis affirmed Jack's strength with conviction, leaving him shocked, yet strangely moved by the recognition. Jack admitted he felt no relief. Uncertain, struggling with the weight of his insecurities. Despite doubts, compliments struck deeply, heart trembling with realization, questioning whether he had truly grown stronger. Jack declared boldly that defeating Elvis would prove undeniable strength, setting the stage for confrontation. Elvis's determined smile shone beneath the night sky, his eyes blazing with excitement for battle. Elvis smiled challengingly, wondering aloud which of them was truly stronger, sparking Jack's determination. Facing one another under starlight, both silently acknowledged the inevitable clash that would someday test them. Determination burned brightly, strength must be proven through battle, and each was ready for the challenge. Before tension escalated, a cat appeared unexpectedly, interrupting their serious standoff with a simple Naya. Others noticed quickly, mistaking Jack as another stray, sparking laughter and breaking the duel's intense atmosphere. The stray cat eagerly devoured meat, drawing Elvis's gentle reminder to show kindness, in moderation. Jack considered responsibility, realizing keeping the cat meant committing care, not just casual feeding or sympathy. Others argued playfully about dormitory rules, debating whether pets belonged inside. Yet compassion swayed their thoughts. Drunken encouragement pushed responsibility onto them, deciding the cat's care would become a shared learning experience. As dawn arrived the next day, academy life resumed, new responsibilities awaiting alongside ordinary lessons. Students gathered at the bulletin board, carefully scanning the posted match announcements with tense anticipation. Jack noticed familiar names listed, realizing important duels were approaching. Footsteps echoing through the academy hallway. The schedule revealed a heated matchup, Ruby Bergson versus Gawain McDonnell, marking chapter's intense conclusion. Spectators filled the grand arena, excitement rising as students gathered to witness the upcoming freshman league match. Among the crowd, classmates discussed their unexpected confrontation, surprised by the high turnout for such early battles. Two promising fighters entered confidently, their presence alone stirring cheers, marking this as a highly anticipated showdown. Commentators introduced the duel, announcing extraordinary analysts, while students across the academy awaited the clash with anticipation. Facing one another at designated positions, both fighters prepared seriously, recalling tactics and equipment from previous examinations. Observers watched closely, questioning the fighters' true capabilities, curious how far their skills could reach. At the referee's signal, both combatants clashed with determination, unleashing powerful energy as the battle commenced. Suddenly one fighter vanished, shocking spectators, who soon realized mysterious spirit magic concealed her presence entirely. Ruby's unique spirit magic unfolded, crafting illusions like woven fabric, projecting convincing images within the arena. Hidden beneath transparent projections, Ruby skillfully masked herself, forcing her opponent to anticipate invisible, unpredictable strikes. McDonnell firmly gripped his shield, preparing a strategy, while the crowd anticipated his decisive counterattack. In a sudden move, his shield liquefied, melting into flowing water, leaving spectators gasping in disbelief. Students watching reacted with shock, confusion spreading quickly, unsure what unexpected tactic was unfolding before them. Commentators explained his decision, revealing the shield's transformation served reconnaissance, detecting hidden movements across battlefield. Observers realized too late, Ruby's concealment had been exposed, her position discovered through McDonnell's watery trap. McDonnell's spirit magic revealed itself, liquefying metal into flowing streams, exposing his formidable iron shield. With overwhelming force, he summoned Indomitable Pillar, towering liquid metal rising menacingly within the battlefield arena. Spectators speculated nervously, commentators acknowledging his cunning, recognizing his tactical brilliance hidden beneath sheer raw power. Metal surged violently around him, trapping Ruby within an ever-shrinking circle, leaving her visibly distressed. Confidently, McDonnell declared Ruby's inevitable entrapment, challenging her to find an escape within his overwhelming domain. McDonnell pressed forward aggressively, sacrificing defense for reconnaissance, forcing Ruby to respond with rapid speed. Water, like streams, surged across the battlefield, advancing quickly, leaving Ruby scrambling to evade the spreading attack. With swift movement, Ruby countered, striking close at McDonnell, catching him briefly off guard mid-charge. Their eyes locked intensely, Ruby determined, McDonnell surprised, the clash escalating toward a dangerous conclusion. Yet McDonnell retaliated instantly, swinging his massive blade downward, narrowly missing Ruby in a devastating strike. Spectators gasped as McDonnell endured a seemingly fatal strike, confusion spreading about his miraculous survival. classmates speculated secretly, debating whether hidden armor or protective equipment was shielding him beneath his uniform. They recalled earlier tests, realizing McDonald possessed another protective layer that rapidly regenerated under duress. During battles, he consistently withstood direct hits, shield, and armor restoring swiftly through indomitable pillar's power. Revealed truth shocked many. McDonald wore shock, absorbing armor, though constant heavy blows still threatened his human body. The shocking truth emerged: McDonald's body itself functioned as armor, resilient and unyielding against attacks. When his uniform tore, reddish, brown scales glimmered beneath, hinting at something far beyond ordinary humanity. Friends realized with wide eyes, Gawain was no ordinary man, but human fused with scales. His transformation revealed the truth: dragonkin heritage, descendants of humans once bound by powerful dragons. Spectators identified his lineage, copper dragon blood, explaining his metallic scales, resilience, and overwhelming defensive abilities. Gawain's scales harmonized flawlessly with spirit magic, leaving no weaknesses, forming armor without visible gaps. Spectators debated fairness, some insisting Ruby's disadvantage stemmed from bad luck, not solely combat compatibility. Azalea was challenged, questioned whether in real missions she would dismiss losses as unlucky circumstances. A harsh example was given, encountering overwhelming foes, dismissing defeat as misfortune could mean death. The lesson was clear: students must abandon excuses, facing reality, instead of attributing failure to luck. Veterans warned that freshmen often lose first matches, pride clouding judgment and leading to defeat. The audience stirred nervously, realizing the harsh truth behind those words. Tension spreading throughout the stands. From enrollment onward, upperclassmen studied spirit techniques, preparing strategies to exploit freshmen' weaknesses without mercy. It was revealed that most spectators weren't casual observers, but intelligence department students analyzing everything. Freshmen realized with dread, their battles were more than duels, they were tests under constant surveillance. Students reflected on an ancient teaching: knowing oneself and the enemy ensures repeated victory. Intelligence and combat departments collaborated secretly, gathering knowledge to dominate grade battles with strategic precision. The Academy's harsh creed declared strength natural, weakness unacceptable, demanding relentless pursuit of power. Victory meant survival, strategies, countermeasures, and deception, all necessary tools to prolong life in battle. Some pondered the grim lesson: in this academy, winning justified any means, regardless of morality. Friendship once shared in classrooms turned meaningless, as students were now declared sworn enemies. Smiles turned sinister, with everyone encouraged to test, manipulate, and exploit each other's weaknesses. Gawain struck decisively, neutralizing Ruby's attempt with flawless precision and overwhelming physical strength. The duel's conclusion was undeniable: Ruby's defeat resulted from poorly anticipating decisive counter-strategy. Victory belonged to Gawain, who dismantled Ruby's tactics through careful preparation, analysis, and tactical superiority. Academy life became fierce information warfare, where knowledge and secrets meant survival against cunning rivals. Ruby's expression hardened, realizing new challenges awaited, testing both strength and trust among uncertain allies. Tension rose in the hallway as groups separated, alliances unclear, and suspicion lingered heavily. Goodbyes were exchanged politely, yet underlying doubt ensured tomorrow's encounters would carry sharper edges. One voice confronted another directly, questioning determination and whether they intended to stop pursuing battles. Elvis admitted he understood rank battles. Unlike Ruby, who still clung to fleeting friendships, Azalea accused him of exploiting their conversations, seeking information while treating her only as enemy. He didn't deny it, affirming strength and recognition as a spirit magician were his goal. He clarified their actions weren't out of dislike, but pursuit of survival within ruthless academy. Azalea accepted the truth silently, walking away while assuring them she truly understood their resolve. Phil reflected on the academy's cruel system, where deception clashed directly with fragile friendships. Azalea asked how long their group had been united, sensing hidden alliances already in motion. They simply answered with playful smiles, leaving the question unanswered and trust shrouded in uncertainty. Azalea and Elvis faced their first match, where strategies clashed fiercely inside the grand arena. Azalea triumphed narrowly, exhausting her opponent, while Elvis effortlessly overwhelmed his enemy with unmatched precision. 4 days later, the audience filled every seat, eagerly anticipating the next thrilling Grade 2 match. The crowd erupted with excitement as Windsor confidently entered the arena, attracting countless expectant eyes. With princely grace and overwhelming strength, Windsor strode forward, ready to secure another resounding victory. Windsor stood confidently before his opponent, swords raised, while determination gleamed in both fighters' eyes. The match commenced. Windsor's powerful incarnation appeared instantly, radiating overwhelming might and stunning the awaiting crowd. Observers recognized the strategy summon incarnation, crush opponents quickly, yet suspicion about Elvis's hidden abilities grew stronger. Revealed knowledge described Baimon, the royal family spirit, granting overwhelming authority exclusive to chosen heirs. Further investigation suggested Elvis's ability altered atmospheric pressure, resembling wind spirit magic but far deadlier. The battlefield trembled violently as the ground erupted upward, forcing Windsor's opponent into sudden retreat. Windsor's speed astonished everyone. His rapid movements left even sharp-eyed spectators gasping in disbelief. With a swift strike, Windsor's blade sliced forward, creating relentless arcs aimed directly at his opponent. Spectators watched breathlessly, shocked by Windsor's confident smile and the devastating ferocity displayed before them. Graceful dodges countered Windsor's barrage, his opponent evading each slash with movements resembling a flowing dance. Windsor smiled confidently, dismissing doubts, while his opponent questioned the meaning behind such tactics. Observers speculated Windsor's opponent relied on body enhancement, yet Elvis seemed to predict every possible trajectory. Suddenly, a colossal magical eye manifested above the arena, shocking spectators with its ominous presence. The oppressive gaze weighed heavily, making Elvis feel dominated, as though his entire existence was controlled. Despite the pressure, Elvis confirmed his suspicion, calmly analyzing Windsor's movements, while continuing their relentless clash. Elvis calmly closed his eyes, perceiving every trajectory through the mysterious royal authority's gaze. The incarnation served merely as distraction, concealing the true power residing within the ominous eye. Victory demanded overcoming the eye itself, the very core of the dreaded authority of conflict. Time dwindled rapidly, tension soared, and both fighters prepared their decisive strikes, with everything remaining. With a fierce thrust, Elvis pierced his opponent's defense, delivering the final, match-ending blow. Time expired, and the announcer declared the winner would be decided by remaining spiritual power. Windsor emerged victorious, flawlessly defending and attacking, never allowing his opponent to land a strike. Spectators praised his perfect victory, though doubts lingered about the true extent of his strength. Elvis concealed imperfections in his psychic technique, revealing that weaknesses still existed within his strategy. Determined, Elvis's rival vowed to exploit that hidden flaw, challenging the true limits of his power. Before the roaring crowd, Windsor pointed directly toward the stands, shocking everyone with his gesture. All eyes turned as Windsor revealed his chosen rival Jack Lieber, the Academy's rising super rookie. With a confident smile, Windsor challenged Jack directly, questioning who among them was truly stronger. The audience gasped as Jack stepped forward, his blade gleaming, accepting the sudden provocation. Grade 2 Lieber received Windsor's declaration of war, marking the beginning of their destined rivalry. Windsor declared openly his challenge, promising a decisive victory, escalating their rivalry into undeniable seriousness. Meanwhile, Jack prepared countermeasures, disguising his weapon carefully with silver paint to conceal its nature. The following day, Jack descended into the Academy's underground archives, seeking hidden knowledge for answers. Accompanied by a classmate, he gained access through her authority, exploring forbidden records together. Though she insisted her help was limited, Jack recognized her kindness beneath her stern demeanor. Elvis's spirit magic manipulated the atmosphere, granting foresight of movements, and solid, like pressure control. In the archives, investigation revealed deeper truths, suggesting Elvis's powers stemmed from perception and atmosphere manipulation. His companion avoided personal involvement, while Ruby, after her match, began preparing countermeasures against threats. Others, like Azalea, resorted to strategies of manipulation, gathering secrets through classroom negotiations and alliances. Together, they uncovered countless old documents in hidden archives, searching for answers about Elvis's ability. Inside the archive, Jack concealed his intentions, refusing to reveal what knowledge he truly sought. He searched for records detailing past battles of those wielding the legendary authority of conflict. Her clumsy attempt to grab a book from above caused sudden chaos in the archive. Startled, she squeezed her eyes shut, bracing as everything toppled dangerously around her. Jack caught her in time, steadying her, both embarrassed yet relieved by the unexpected closeness. Amid the chaos, Azalea slipped dangerously, causing panic as Jack rushed to catch her. Jack shouted desperately, urging her to calm down before the situation worsened further. Azalea Faye cried out in embarrassment, losing balance completely, as the accident grew even more awkward. Both flushed red, stunned into silence, their eyes meeting with shock and mounting tension. Furious and humiliated, Azalea's anger flared violently, while Jack apologized nervously, pleading for leniency. She suddenly turned when he pointed forward, realizing something unusual was hidden right before them. Inside the library silence, she noticed the locked door, curiosity pressing her to investigate its purpose. He confidently declared it a hidden entrance, believing secrets were preserved there, untouched by censorship. Together they pushed deeper, discovering a concealed chamber, shelves lined with countless mysterious, dust-covered tomes. Opening one carefully, he confirmed legendary research within, marveling while questioning her strangely calm, composed reaction. He confronted her calm demeanor, pointing out suspicions of manipulation and her hidden intentions at Academy. She snapped back, emotions overflowing, insisting firmly they weren't committing anything wrong, despite growing suspicions. He clarified their shallow bond, questioning her dislike for rank battles, demanding honesty from her. She declared determination to surpass everyone, striving for top grades, yet revealed uncertainty hidden underneath confidence. Memories surfaced of joyful moments, eating together without judgment, realizing friendships held meaning she never expected. Tears welled as she admitted fear, terrified those joyful moments might only be fabricated lies. She questioned his methods, demanding why strategies must matter beyond battles. Yearning for straightforward confrontation, he rejected her reasoning, insisting half-hearted effort diminished everything, declaring such mindset nothing but childish games. While tension lingered, he suddenly found critical information within the book. Excitement bursting across his face, the ancient text revealed King's Eye, granting vision into causality, perceiving connections of worlds' hidden truths. He uncovered the truth, realizing the hidden ability's name was actually authority of overview. A vision revealed its essence, observational ability, granting overwhelming insight beyond conflict, perceiving everything's hidden truth. Closing the book, he smiled confidently, declaring only correct alignment of discovered pieces remained. She warned sternly, reminding him that finding Elvis's weakness meant inevitable confrontation between them someday. Leaving the room, she commanded tidiness, leaving him speechless, still clutching the book tightly. Left alone in silence, he clutched the book tightly, muttering sarcastically about her motherly attitude. Q enjoyed his meal quietly while Gawain approached, carrying urgent news for the prince. The blonde prince listened intently, his sharp smile revealing excitement, as the awaited announcement was delivered. Jack Lieber's name echoed, marking the 8th match, stirring curiosity and anticipation among those present. Jack prepared himself, recognizing overcoming this rival was necessary to truly prove his own strength. Speculations rose regarding strategies, yet the tense moment was interrupted by sudden footsteps approaching quickly. The prince warned Gawain cautiously, reminding him the academy remained filled with listening eyes everywhere. Elsewhere, Jack coordinated with allies, Ruby admitting her cover was blown, but progress continued regardless. Ruby and Phil worked diligently, gathering information, strengthening their network while concealing Jack's hidden preparations. Jack encouraged Ruby's continued support, promising future rewards, while questioning her satisfaction with his simple offerings. Ruby revealed her thieving skills, effortlessly stealing Jack's wallet, demonstrating sharp instincts and playful yet dangerous cunning. Laughter and teasing filled the courtyard, friendships tested yet strengthened before tomorrow's decisive confrontation. The sun rose high, casting light upon the academy, as the long-awaited decisive battle approached. Morning greeted the prince warmly, Q's familiar presence offering comfort before the challenging day ahead. A mysterious voice resonated from the pendant, urging him relentlessly to grow stronger without hesitation. His mother's command echoed, demanding he prove strength to the nation, and he accepted firmly. The prince bid farewell to Q warmly, preparing himself for the long-awaited confrontation ahead. Jack focused intently, practicing with concentration as magical energy surged, forming patterns around floating blocks. Memories of childhood training surfaced, building blocks shaping his discipline, now strengthening his mental preparation. Friends discussed peculiar routines, noting restrictions in magic and arts often revealed potential weaknesses. Jack encouraged support, reminding them to watch closely as he left, ready for the challenge. Encouragement came unexpectedly with a kiss, leaving Jack surprised, yet fueled with renewed determination. Jack declared his resolve confidently, stepping forward with unwavering spirit to face the upcoming match. Crowds erupted as Jack Lieber and Elvis Kunz Windsor entered the grand arena for battle. He urged others to witness, promising their true intentions would finally be revealed through combat. A companion shared food quietly, reinforcing bonds before tension rose toward the decisive confrontation tomorrow. Students asked Raquel about Jack's chances, but she remained impartial, refusing to show favoritism. Privately, Raquel admitted Jack's cunning exceeded expectations, granting him potential beyond what most recognized. The arena filled with tension as both competitors stood ready, awaiting the referee's count. Spectators wondered about Jack's beliefs, determined to witness his resolve within the Academy's magical battleground. With fiery determination, Jack and Elvis faced each other. As the match officially began, Elvis unleashed a devastating attack, the arena trembling beneath the overwhelming force of spirit arts. Jack charged forward fearlessly, surprising Elvis with his daring assault. Despite the overwhelming magical pressure, spectators debated Windsor's strength, questioning whether Jack's tactics could counter the heavy spirit pressure effectively. Analysts speculated Jack's true goal wasn't victory alone, but dismantling Windsor's overwhelming reputation entirely. Observers realized Jack's strategy involved calculated sacrifice, turning Windsor's strength into bait for Academy-wide influence. Observers noted both Jack and Elvis fought relentlessly, convinced giving their all was the only path. Elvis skillfully dodged Jack's rush, demonstrating mastery even against the dangerous king's eye techniques. Explanations revealed Windsor's spirit magic, the authority of conflict, harnessed causality itself to dictate outcomes. Spectators realized Windsor specialized in perceiving atmosphere, predicting movements by manipulating flow, strength, and speed. Such mastery allowed even small motions to control surroundings, making Windsor's pressure attacks seemingly unstoppable. Explanations revealed causality's application, perceiving one outcome, yet forcing another through altered observation. By perceiving conflict, the wielder could transform a breeze into storms, manifesting predicted outcomes as reality. Such ability, called the King's Eye, granted absolute authority to dictate causality within battles. Still, limitations existed, especially when manipulating outcomes before large, unpredictable crowds gathered in witness. Tension rose sharply as Jack clenched his fist, signaling his decisive counterattack was beginning. For the first time, Windsor defended directly, halting Jack's aggressive advance with precise control. Jack retaliated fiercely, forcing Windsor backward, proving his relentless drive could not be easily contained. Spectators realized Windsor's vision faltered under overload, disrupted by noise, movement, and overwhelming crowd influence. Windsor perceived every detail with extreme precision, yet the packed arena's chaos strained his senses. Ruby revealed Jack's scheme, stirring the audience intentionally to exploit Windsor's sensory dependence entirely. Jack challenged accusations of underhandedness, comparing his tactics to Windsor's own calculated strategies. Observers noted the prince would admire Jack's determination, pleased rather than angered by his boldness. Spectators realized crushing one another completely forged recognition, acknowledging strength through absolute confrontation. Commentators explained Jack's method wasn't repeatable easily, only possible under unique circumstances aligning perfectly. Suddenly, a powerful strike shocked the arena, leaving everyone questioning what Jack revealed next. Jack's punch finally landed, marking Windsor's first damage and turning the battle's momentum in his favor. Windsor faltered, overwhelmed by unfamiliar sensations, disrupting his previously flawless evasions. Confusion spreading across his strained expression, noise erupted within Windsor's perception, overwhelming him with unnatural sounds no one else seemed able to hear. The realization struck these sounds targeted only him, shattering his composure and destabilizing his precise control. Acknowledging Jack's cunning, Windsor smiled through sweat, realizing his opponent had truly surpassed expectations in this battle. Windsor unleashes immense pressure, shaking the battlefield with overwhelming spirit arts. Jack fearlessly charges through the storm, shocking everyone with his unyielding determination. Observers debate compatibility of spirit arts, questioning Jack's strategy against Windsor's crushing advantage. Instead of focusing on victory, Jack aims to expose Windsor's weaknesses for the Academy. His plan unfolds, revealing a cunning long-term strategy that shifts the flow of the duel. She gasped in disbelief, realizing Jack's cunning had extended far beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Phil's innocent smile only deepened suspicions, leaving others uneasy about her hidden power and involvement. With playful secrecy, Phil hinted at her crucial role, concealing the truth behind a mischievous grin. Their scheme, flawless and undetectable, was labeled a perfect crime that transcended Academy rules. The audience erupted in awe, recognizing Jack and Phil's brilliance, surpassing even the Academy's greatest spirit users. Windsor's sharp defense clashed against Jack's relentless strike, marking their first intense contact in battle. Despite Windsor's calculated precision, Jack's sudden momentum pushed through, forcing him into an unexpected defensive retreat. Spectators gasped as Windsor's vision faltered, disrupted by the overwhelming noise clouding his legendary king's eye. The arena's chaos revealed Windsor's struggle, his power distorted by overwhelming sound, straining his mental control. Jack advanced, his cunning strategy unfolding perfectly, while Windsor panicked, realizing his overwhelming advantage had been overturned. The explosive clash shook the arena, sending shockwaves across the audience, forcing them to shield. Spectators screamed and ducked, shielding themselves from the overwhelming blast waves spreading throughout the Colosseum's battlefield. Observers gasped in awe as destructive power tore through the arena, dust and smoke rising ominously. Grandmaster chuckled knowingly, praising Lieber's hidden strength, while the announcer confirmed his first sword movement's appearance. Amid the clearing smoke, both fighter silhouettes remained firm, still standing strong, preparing their next clash. Windsor's blade clashed fiercely, his king's eye overwhelmed by unforeseen interference, disrupting his perception. Desperate sweat poured, Windsor forced to abandon reliance on King's Eye, amidst unexpected chaos dominating the battlefield. Jack's cunning grin revealed a strategy nobody predicted, overturning expectations and cornering Windsor completely without mercy. A sudden eruption shocked the crowd, leaving Windsor staggering as Jack pressed forward with calculated precision. Overwhelmed, Windsor gasped in disbelief, realizing Jack's unpredictable tactics shattered his advantage and dominance entirely. He barely dodged the strange mirage blade, stunned as Windsor revealed a hidden weapon's nature. Whispers echoed throughout the arena, spectators shocked by Windsor's technique, compressing air itself into a deadly sword. The blade swayed unpredictably, its reach uncertain, forcing Jack into cautious movements while searching for openings. With a sudden swing, Windsor unleashed the sword's full force, a wave tearing through the ground. Jack braced himself, eyes locked, realizing Windsor's true strength was only beginning to reveal its overwhelming potential. Jack realized Windsor's sword was formed of compressed air, a weapon defying normal logic and strength. Attempting erasure failed, shock overwhelmed him. Windsor's creation remained unyielding, proving this battle was far from over. Shocked by the overwhelming blast, Lieber was thrown back violently, leaving everyone stunned by unexpected power. Despite the defense-absorbing impact, severe damage lingered, forcing him to adjust weight desperately to survive. Sweat dripped down his face as he realized this strength surpassed even his own destructive flames. Clutching his injuries, he analyzed mistakes carefully, planning to exploit weaknesses while avoiding fatal direct hits. Confidence steadied his resolve, convinced Elvis would recognize the trap. Refusing to fall for reckless deception, he staggered after blocking the strike, body heavy, realizing his defense barely prevented complete collapse. Shock overwhelmed him as immense power surpassed expectations, greater even than destructive flames he once controlled. Struggling to stand, he analyzed mistakes, vowing to overcome weakness and close every dangerous opening. Both warriors faced each other determinedly, understanding every exchanged blow could instantly decide life or death. Confidence surged between rivals, swords raised, knowing victory demanded flawless precision against Scarlet Dawn's fatal power. Energy burst outward violently, his blade clashing against overwhelming force, shaking the arena with destructive resonance. Explanations reveal techniques' limits, describing hidden mechanisms behind Scarlet Sword and spell activations' deceptive movements. Both combatants prepared, tightening grips, wondering which fighter could seize fleeting opportunity during decisive exchange. They roared fiercely, blades colliding with intensity, declaring duel's true beginning amidst deafening metallic echoes. Spectators erupted in astonishment, arena trembling from impact, every eye captivated by astonishing battle's unfolding spectacle. Swords clashed furiously, each strike releasing sparks, both fighters refusing to yield in relentless exchange. Observers laughed loudly, marveling at brilliance, explaining the duel's chaotic intensity as pure genius unfolding. Blades collided again, moment of collision, revealing impossible feat wielding two legendary swords, simultaneously with precision. Their duel intensified, minds clashing, movements synchronized, creating illusion of united sword, born from perfect timing. Shock spread through onlookers as duelists roared, their combined strength reaching an unexpected and terrifying climax. He declared them rivals, while the other denied fiercely, yet both acknowledged each other's unyielding spirit. Their blades clashed again, strength colliding, each strike fueled by respect and burning desire for victory. A friend cheered passionately, declaring that true friendship was proven through fighting with everything they had. Both fighters roared together, unleashing devastating swings, sparks scattering as battlefield shook from overwhelming determination. Exhaustion set in, thoughts blurred, yet neither yielded, minds locked in endless burning contest of wills. His opponent's blade descended swiftly, leaving him wide-eyed and vulnerable, seemingly caught without escape. Victory was declared prematurely as his rival shouted triumphantly, convinced the battle's conclusion was certain. Instead, momentum shifted suddenly. A fierce counterattack hurled his opponent backward, smashing hard against the floor. Both fighters locked eyes again, breathing heavily, tension rising, knowing the duel still wasn't finished. Stunned silence followed as one calmly raised his hand, gesture shocking everyone watching the fight. He apologized with a strained smile, gripping tightly, preparing to unleash his decisive final strike. Power surged violently, his sword descending with unrelenting force, shaking the battlefield with explosive brilliance. The impact erupted, scattering debris everywhere. Overwhelming explosion engulfing arena, in a storm of destruction. Spectators gasped, awaiting the verdict anxiously, eyes wide, as silence consumed the ruined battlefield. Finally, the victor stood tall above rubble, announced as Jack Lieber, celebrated loudly by the crowd. Defeated rival lay confused, questioning why his final technique failed to strike vital points. Shock followed as a hidden pendant was revealed, its presence nullifying the intended spiritual art. Explanation came calmly, revealing observation of routines and exploiting reliance on always carrying the pendant. Realization spread, no one had known, yet this small habit decided outcome of their fierce duel. Amidst tension, a girl lifted a cat cheerfully, breaking silence, drawing unexpected laughter from crowd. Memories returned. Realization dawning how every small habit was noticed, leading directly to his downfall. Apologies were exchanged, acknowledgement clear he had been watched carefully since the very beginning gathering. Defeated rival burst into laughter, coughing painfully, yet still amused by the surprising unexpected conclusion. With sincerity, he admitted Jack's overwhelming strength, voice trembling, but honest, unable to deny truth. Jack pointed toward cheering crowd, proving that recognition was undeniable, support surrounding him stronger than words. His fallen rival admitted defeat, acknowledging Jack as the true victor before the cheering crowd. Jack reflected quietly, once considering himself ordinary, now realizing destiny forged strength, beyond divine favor. Raising his sword high, he shouted triumphantly, voice resonating with thousands celebrating his hard-earned victory. Celebrations erupted everywhere, drinks lifted high, the academy honoring the thrilling duel with a feast. Friends rushed him joyfully, laughter and cheers surrounding Jack, embracing the champion who proved his strength. Jack's master praised his performance, though he nervously questioned whether she was upset with him. She explained calmly that his choice to fight wholeheartedly was justified, leaving her without complaint. Attention shifted toward Azalea, whose nervous demeanor suggested unspoken thoughts, troubling her heart deeply. Blushing, she struggled to congratulate Jack, her hesitant words carrying an unexpected emotional weight. Overwhelmed, she confessed awkwardly, leaving Jack stunned, questioning whether her trembling words were genuine feelings revealed. Azalea suddenly stepped forward, determination blazing, declaring confidently that it was now her turn. Pointing firmly, she challenged Jack directly, vowing to battle him and claim victory no matter what. Jack responded enthusiastically, smiling brightly, eager to accept her bold challenge without hesitation or fear. She reminded him firmly that her challenge depended on reaching second rank before their duel. Friends teased him afterward, warning his cool demeanor might unintentionally attract even more determined admirers. Jack dashed off suddenly, surprising everyone, while his friends shouted in shock at his reckless action. Students organized a playful capture squad, even summoning animals, leaving Jack exasperated at the chaotic chase. Jack and his friend locked eyes, determination and playful rivalry sparking between them once again. Spectators watched curiously, their expressions ranging from amusement to admiration as Jack's antics unfolded before them. The academy stood tall and proud, its grand structure housing endless challenges and countless possibilities. The academy's vast buildings loomed majestically, each hiding secrets and mysteries waiting to be uncovered. Jack studied alone in the library, unaware of the shadowy presence quietly approaching behind him. He remained focused on his book, not noticing the dark figure drawing closer silently. Suddenly, Jack turned and froze, confronted by a strange shadowy figure with glowing eyes. The eerie figure chuckled softly, its presence unsettling as it loomed over Jack's desk. Jack's eyes narrowed as the shadow leaned closer, its presence pressing against his calm composure. Chains materialized in darkness, binding a broken fragment that spoke affectionately, calling Jack Big Brother.